First there's my moon. Everybody's moon. Pay respect to the moon. Like, I believe she's on my right. We're left. So that kind of makes sense, I guess. Subconscious mind. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, maybe I'll keep shooting like this in there. Maybe she'll help me with some ideas. So I'm going to give you all a secret here today. And the title of this video might be not controversial, but maybe it's meant to give you a watch. I don't know. But is the secret why secret societies, secret magical groups such as Golden Dawn or any secret order, whether it's Dragon or Temple, Stargate or Astaroth, there's always different temples and orders. I don't want to give you the secret why their systems work, why they have people that want to get in, why people pay to go into them. That's what I'm going to discuss in this video. Why these fucking systems work. Why their systems, why the shit they say and do. Why you pay big bucks to get in them, whether it's the Masons or whether it's fucking anything. Whether it's following the Great Work Self-Transformation curriculum I'm currently doing. Whether it's the qliphoth, I'm going to tell you why these motherfucking things work. That's what this video is about here today. That's what you want to hear? Well, stay tuned. I'm going to get into it. First, I want you to understand a few things. When you do path working, when you do the tree of life, qliphoth, tree of death, qliphoth, I believe, is something you should try to at least learn about if you're doing tree of life. Just as polarization work, as something to help polarize you, as something to study to know what the other half is doing, I guess, so to speak. It'd be like if there was a book out there telling the Masons, the presidents, any person who's in a high-ranking official who's taking the world apart, destroying the world. This is what they use. You don't want to read that? Because this is technically what this manual is what they say they use. These dark, satanic cult people are using something like this, and this is definitely dark magic at its finest, basically, from what I gather, from what I've read, even more so now than the first time. I don't know what the fuck I read the first time, because my opinion was completely, I'm mind blown right now by the stuff I'm learning from the qliphoth. It really is something that really helps you understand the true nature of angels and demons. Like, I've always thought that angels were probably a thought form anyways, but I never thought that the angels and the demons were so closely related and basically the same fucking thing. And it totally gives you that perspective when you start reading the qliphoth. So it's definitely a good read. If you don't know which part of the qliphoth or which book to read, because there's a lot of shitty ones out there. There's a lot of dark ones that are just there to scare people. Well, then I'll tell you which ones maybe I'm reading, and you can get a good feel for it. The one I read, it starts with, Crowley, basically telling you who's done it, where the qliphoth has come from, who was the one that responsible for making it, and maybe what their intentions were. And basically Crowley was just trying to do the inverse of the Kabbalah tree, and he didn't finish it before he got hooked on heroin and whatever else. And we'll say what you want about Crowley, but I still like the man. Obviously he was a heroin addict and kind of lost his marbles in the end, is what we're told, but maybe he was a successful magician, and we just don't get to know that because you don't want people becoming magicians, because if you do, you'll be successful like Crowley. So let's tell everybody he's a junkie. And I'm not saying that's accurate. Bunch of racers. I love it. It's dangerous as fuck, but they're all racing down 10th Street right now. Some Gran Turismo shit. One of those motherfuckers will end up dead. No, I shouldn't say that. Fuck. Oh, I reject that thought. I banish that thought. I deny that thought. And I accept that all those racers won't. All those racers will be free from harm, as will any other cars on the road will be free from harm as well. I will be. So mote it be. Harm-free. Corey LeBlanc. Alright, sorry. I didn't want you guys to hear my magical name or whatever else. I just don't want to wish that upon anybody. I forgot to draw my fucking sigil. Shit. Anyways. That was fucking weird, but it is what it is. So, nice close personal fucking view there, eh? So, the secret of of why these things fucking work, why they have success, why people pay to go in them, why they're popular, why people read books about the Golden Dawn technique. I mean, Kabbalah and the Great Work of Self-Transformation is highly taken from a lot of Kabbalah traditions and works. Hell, most of the books you have to read, like, you have to have the Golden Dawn textbook written by, I think it's Levi or it's Israel Regardie, I think both. You have to have multiple books from these guys, and it's literally the fucking textbook for the Golden Dawn fucking class. So, you know, I'm basically doing a version of the Golden Dawn class, and it's just Liam Thomas Christopher. So basically, I don't know. I had never read up on Liam Thomas Christopher, but I'm assuming that what he did was he did the Golden Dawn, and then he came up with a way that people can do it faster. That's more original, not such the same as the Golden Dawn. Maybe he asked them for permission to publicate his, so people will get into magic and maybe not do the exact one as that. I don't know, but I think the dark tree is important to do because it's got extra sephirods that we don't know about. And basically what happens is you can think you're depolarized, and you can literally be just going around the nodes of the moon, back and forth, and not ever really getting anywhere. It's still stuck in this realm. And I think that happened to me definitely the first time I did my first initiation. And who knows, that could be happening right now. I don't think so, but it could be. Nonetheless, there's a lot of good information within that book. Books. There's two I'm reading, like I said before. Anyways, I'm trying to stall and talk about stuff before I go, but it's kind of hard. I'm working right now, so I'm not really in this setting where I can just be freely and talk, because, you know, it's only me and another guy here right now, and he's inside working, but, you know, just, you never know. So anyways, what I'm going to say is, after I'm done work, y'all are going to get the secret, but you're not going to know I'm done work, because when you get this, it's going to be all together, but, you know, I always say shit like that. Another thing is that my work is so fucking hot. If hell actually existed, I think we got him beat, bud. I think the devil ain't got shit on my plant, bud. We're so fucking hot. Oh yeah, happy Canada Day, y'all, to all my fellow Canadians out there, and anybody who isn't Canadian. Happy fucking Canada Day, and whatever country you're fucking from too. Happy whatever fucking day you guys got, because truth be told, I'm a fucking human citizen. I'm a witch and a magician before I'm a fucking Canadian. But I do like my fucking country. I think my country is top notch. One of the best places to live, bar none. But I've never lived anywhere else, but I've been to the States, I've been to Cuba, I've been in other provinces, but yeah, that's basically it. So I don't really have much experience, but out of Cuba and the States, I totally picked Canada. So yeah, anyways, see you guys after work. Alright, just so everyone knows, on my Facebook as well, there's a PDF on there for Kabbalah and the Great Work of Self-Transformation. In the next few days, I'll be putting on the financial sorcery, sorcerer secrets, and potentially one of the qliphoth books I'm reading. I haven't decided which one yet. And yeah, I'm gonna get into that secret really soon. I'm just trying to figure out how to go about starting it off.
To understand the methodology of the suppression of the 1. The 10 archdemons or demon kings, the rulers adverse to the Sephirot. To understand the methodology of the suppression of the elder gods, known in Akkadian texts as the Anunnaki, in Essene Enoch as the Anunnaki, and in later Latin Catholic doctrine as the Grigori, one must first be introduced to a brief bit of history. The eldest Homo sapiens skeletons have been found near modern Israel, ancient Canaan, particularly in what is now southern Turkey, just north of modern Iraq, elder Babylon and ancient Sumeria. This may have been the location of the literary Eden of Hebrew lore, known from Assyrian tablets as Eden or Eden. However, the first wave of civilization came to the Fertile Crescent several millennia later, when the Kurgan tribes people migrated through from the Siberian steppes. These pale-skinned people had been depicted as the blue race of Aryans after having left the Indus River Valley, and brought with them on their migration route through the Middle East the high technology of the wheel as well as codified set of laws. They established walled cities outside of which agriculture was prompted to cultivate the rich soil of the Tigris, Euphrates and Nile River basins, and inside of which monumental building projects were commenced. Initiated the ziggurats of Sumeria and the first pyramids of the Old Kingdom in Egypt. They also had their own set of phonetic ideograms, which were a far more advanced form than the mere pictographs used by the resident herders. Then, as quickly as they had come, these Aryan Anunnaki Kurgans vanished. The Sumerian tablets clearly indicate that there was a war between the people of the western territories in Egypt and those of the northern Akkadian Empire of Iraq with the southern Iraqi Sumerians. However, the Egyptian records of this event, if they ever existed, seem to have been lost. The legend is largely preserved through the later Babylonian Empire of unified Sumer-Akkad. There are other records, however, preserved throughout the lands of Egypt, amongst the Hebrews, the early Babylonians, and as far east as India, China and Japan, which explain the sudden loss of the power hierarchy due to another event, a catastrophic flood. Ample evidence of this cataclysm, whether it be attributed to a war in the heavens as in the old Sumerian records, or to a flood as is the general consensus of the surrounding areas, exists in the geological record, where we find naturally formed tektites of glass smelted from sand across the delta of the Nile as far west as the Sahara, as well as evidence of a sudden deposit of silt 10 feet thick in Iraq reaching as far north as to the peat bogs of Great Britain. Whatever happened, it seems that something wiped the past slate clean, and left the urbanized primitives to begin again, without the guidance of their mysterious benefactors. Some of the nation states maintained the sacred bloodlines of these Kurgans intermarriage with the native peoples, and these bloodlines ruled more or less despotically even amongst the nomadic tribes such as the Hebrews, teaching that one day their now disembodied past idols would rise up and return. However, it would not be long until Greek republicanism spawned the first non-bloodline empire, which was responsible for the most severe repression of the royal bloodlines to have ever occurred before or since, subsuming the priestcraft of the various nations, such as the Hasmonean heresy of the First Maccabean uprising in Judea is but one minor example. The Roman Empire has established itself as the elite ruling power of the ever more unified planet. Nahima, Queen Shub-ed-Aver, the rightful Yamanamu, was the sister of Baal of Sumeria, and of Appi, a Hyksos king who ruled from Thebes. In the legends, she is known as a descendant of the royal bloodline of King Cain, son of Ka with Enki. Her three brothers conspired against Sinkir-Tau, a pharaoh of Marduk, another son of Enki, and murdered him. As an Ammonite, she was the matriarchal grandmother of Lot, from whom the line of David would be sired. References: Nahima is the demoness of impurity, and the mortal mother of the demon king Asmodeus, whose father was Ashamdon, a Yazidic archangel. Savadau, 71. Namriel is the Manichaean name for the mother of Adam and Eve. Jews also called her Nahima or Nama, a serpent mother classified with Lilith. Walker, 718. Nama is one of the four angels of prostitution, all mates of Samiel, the other three being Lilith, Esheth Zanunim and Agrat, Igarath, Bat Malat. Nama is the mother of the devil Asmodeus by the angel.
Right, hello? Are you gonna fucking start? Alright. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, the last little clip that I played was of the thing I was talking about earlier, my last video about the Grigori being the same as the Anunnaki, being the same as the Anunnage. Anunnage was from Acadia time, Anunnaki is from Mesopotamian, Babylonian, Sumerian time, and Grigori is our time, which now I'd say Grigori was for the last 2,000 and some odd years, and now I guess we'd be calling them gods again and or demons. So take a pick. Prior to that, I was talking really low, and it's because the baby kept waking up after work last night when I came home. I was all set to record when I got home. Kitchen, I was gonna go low and just turn up my volume after I recorded, and no such things, because every time I started talking, she would start crying. Not because she could hear me, probably something deeper than that, but nonetheless, I didn't record last night, so I'll have to do it now here today before work again. Man, it's already pretty fucking humid outside. I mean, it's gonna be fucking dick sucking hot in my fucking work. I don't know if dick sucking makes you hot though, but I'm guessing it does. Makes you fucking, pretty warmed up, especially the girls that know how to do it. They know what they're doing. My wife knows what she's doing. She's not doing it right now. She's so pissed off at me for some reason The hell if I know why, but you know, whatever. I love her, whatever. My girlfriend hates me, and I don't know why, but whatever. Whatever. I don't know, something like that. Tommy Donald song. It's a good song. Everybody hates me. The beginning of it, check it out. It's pretty funny. The first time I heard that song with my wife in the car, I fucking sang it to her. She looked at me, she's like, well, if you don't know why, I'm not going to tell you. I'm like, that's the fucking point he's trying to get at. That crazy bullshit. But anyways, I still think females are the stronger gender, and I still think you guys are going to rule the world, so I don't take any offense to that. Anybody who thinks I'm being rude to women, I am not. I'm simply just stating, I don't know why my wife's not at me. Nonetheless, the secret. Now, the secret isn't just for all of the secret services, the secret, the elite, fucking, what are they called? Secret fraternities and secret lodges, and, you know, like Freemasonry and Skull and Bones, and not just for that, not just for the Golden Dawn, the Order of the Temple Order of the Golden Dawn. It's not just for this. This is for anybody selling programs that deal with getting stuff into the subconscious mind, anybody trying to sell magic, witchcraft, anything like that. The reason things will work. This is an all-encompassing secret for all those things. Alright, what's going on, y'all? This is Corey LeBlanc. You know, the guy who's been making this video all along. Yeah, I'm acting like I'm just starting a brand new one, even though I'm not. So, the secret of why magical systems work in general, not just synonymous with any magical system, but every and all magical system. Reasons why. The reasons, I don't know, this thing keeps cutting me off, but the reasons why magical systems work are as follows. But first, before you get into that, let me get all my shit ready. I gotta drive to work. I gotta hustle my ass down there so I'm not fucking late, yo. Bullshit. You're almost always late for work. It's brutal. And that's including the 3 minutes grace period they give us. If we punch in 3 minutes late, it's okay. Just like I'm allowed to punch out 3 minutes early. Like I said, my work takes care of us. I've never had a job where they've actually taken care of us so nicely. Let us do what we want. Let us take breaks when we want, as long as we want. Punch in and out kind of whenever we want. Take days off whenever we want, give or take. With some reason, obviously. I think it was a profit sharing check at the end of the year. We get one halfway through the year. I mean, it's an amazing job. I've never had one like this before. And it is just a job. It's not something you have to go to school for or anything like that. It's just a job. But it's one of them lucky jobs that you get that you're set. It's federally owned, which is one of the reasons there's so many liberties and why you're allowed to do so much. I'm going through it, so guys, I'm going to be late for work right now. Oh, it's totally a red light. Oh, well, it's all good in the hood. No cops there, hopefully. I don't need more of that bullshit. But anyways, so I know there's a bunch of things I'm supposed to talk about before I talk about why this works. But path working. Look it up, do your research on it, find out if it's right for you. I think everybody should do path working. Same thing with the qliphoth. Put away your judgments and your preconceived notions and all the shit you've heard about path working. Put that all aside and just try to think if it's for you or not, okay? Figure out if, the qliphoth is for you or not, okay? Because truly, when you do the qliphoth, you are descending into the dead. You're going to hell. You are killing your old personification, and you're taking on a bunch of different deities and whatnot, and you're going to do path working. We're going to take on this the demon and or angel of the Sephiroth that you're working on. And that's a good thing. That's what you want to do. It's going to help. And it truly does change your perspective of everything. This is how you actually do the middle path. Now, all this right or left bullshit. I'm the left hand, I'm the right-handed path. No. Both of those are unbalanced. Middle path is the true only path. Now, can you get there just by doing the tree of life? Absolutely. It all depends on the practitioner. It depends on what you need to do. That's why I'm saying I'm not telling people to do the Tree of Life. I'm not telling people to do the Tree of Death. I'm not telling people to do the qliphoth. I'm not telling people to do Kabbalah. I'm simply stating what I'm doing because I think I need to do it. I'm doing the Tree of Life right now and I'm getting results. But in all honesty, the results I'm getting are not necessarily from the Tree of Life, except for the whole depolarization thing I've been actively working on now for like 4 years now. And that is all because of both Greater Xavier and the book Kabbalah, the great work of self-transformation. Had it not been for that, I probably wouldn't have the success and be able to manifest things when I want. Like I said, Birch said this it was probably close to like 8 months ago. I watched a video. I think it was one of his Ask Uncle Birch's, where he's talking about, after a certain amount of time, and he's been in the game for a long time, and I even made a video about this. I haven't been in the game or a witch or a magical practitioner nearly, not even like a quarter of the length of time that Birch has been in it. But I know what he was talking about for some reason. I resonated with it when he says magic isn't something like you do, it's a way of life. Meaning, like, you could be sitting there at a bar, but you'll think of something, you'll get insights come to you that you're going to talk about in your next episode, or something you need to bring up. Also, things you want to manifest, you're going to do in your head right there while you're at the table. You're gonna banish stuff away. You're gonna do a spell. You're gonna come up with spells, and when they work, you're gonna write them down in the book, in your grimoire, in your book of shadows, in your journal, whatever the case is. You're gonna write them all down. And when you do this, sorry, bud. When you do this, I just passed by a cop, son of a bitch. Anyways, this is what he means by it's a way of life. And it is a way of life. We are manifesting our life as we go. Now, the qliphoth talks about shadow people, your shadow self, your shadow side, how to see shadow people, and how to do different exercises to see the shadow self, the shadow people. And what I like about that is the fact that they explain that this is kind of like your subconscious mind. This is maybe what's around when you're sleeping. Anyways, but while it was being explained to me, while I was reading it or listening to it, I was getting these pictures in my mind of the shadow people. Whenever it was basically like telling me the shadow people that we see out of the corner of our eyes are extensions of ourselves. If you are seeing shadow people, whenever you do scrying or crystal ball or trying to see the other realm, if you're trying to do some kind of divination, maybe it's not even divination, maybe you're just trying to, what you do is you use your peripheral. You focus on, like I said, my grandmother saw people's futures through tea leaves and the cup. Now I don't know if she had water in the cup or not, if she emptied it out or not, but I do know black cups, put a little bit of water with a person's saliva and stuff in it, you would be able to use that because it's a bended. That's why you do a black mirror. A black mirror, you still see a reflection, but it's darker. It ignites it. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyways, it works off of your peripheral vision, and it's the vision outside of what you're technically focusing on something, but you're not. So your eyes are looking in a direction, but you're seeing everything else around. Kind of like when you're driving. I'm looking at the guy's license plate right now, but I see these two signs here. I see the ground, I see the sky, I see that coming lane, I can even see my rear view mirrors, okay? But yet I'm still focused on that guy. The more you practice that, the better you get at that. And I mean, that's just good for life in general. Whether you're playing a sport or working or playing video games, your peripheral vision is better, it's better. What comes with that is seeing fucked up weird things. But these fucked up weird things that you're seeing are part of you. There's nothing to be scared about. These might be the things that create your reality. These might be thought forms that you created. I don't know. But the way the qliphoth describes it, instead of leaving you with more questions, it actually gives you quite a bit of information and answers. And it's very enlightening. Now, to know that, I'm in the kitchen last night, and all of a sudden the hamburger buns that were stacked up on top of each other, that no one touched, that I didn't even go near, they fall down onto the cupboard. Right? They fall off and then they fall on the floor about 5 minutes later. No one was around it. There was no window in my kitchen. There's no window open. There's no nothing. I don't even have a door on that level except for the front door or the back sliding door, which are both closed. But it's not like anybody opened or shut those. But even, let's say, if the window was cracked, there was no way for air to get into that corner. So what did that? Well, it was something that I was learning about that I needed to know exactly. Like, that point was important. I was like, oh, fuck, I didn't hear what they said, so I rewinded it. And then that's when the fucking thing fell down again on the floor, was whenever I found the exact spot that it wanted me to hear. That's an important part, you know? Sometimes these messages come in, and maybe that's not even right, but for me, that's the only thing I could, like, kind of connect the dots of why that happened. These little things happen like that, but before, I used to be scared shitless of this. Not only that, but the qliphoth likes to explain that, where your fears are, it's your power. So whatever you fear, that is going to be your power. That's what the shadow side is. That's what your subconscious is. It's all kind of connected to that. I mean, it's not all what it is, but it's all a part of it, basically. So wherever you're polarized in fear against, you know, the opposite being what you're comfortable with, well, that's going to be where your power is. So as soon as you can face that fear, you're going to be a fucking monster. You're going to be so ahead of the game, it's going to be unbelievable. So the goal is to face that fucking fear and get this shit done so that you can thrive instead of, you know, being a victim, basically. But anyways, it's time for me to work, so I still didn't get into what I want to get into, but I still gave you quite a bit of good info there, so I hope you enjoy and have a great fucking day. Alright, so speak of the devil and he appears. Let's talk about what's going on before I get into my secret I want to share with y'all. Last night, middle of the night, 1 a.m., 1:30, something like that. I'm in the living room sitting down. Cat comes upstairs. The cat play. She's scared of me. I'm always the authoritative figure with the animals in the house, the dog, the cat, the kids. They call them animals too. So I'm a scary one. Meaning, cat likes me, cat will like me, especially if the cat's hungry. The kids are going to feed the fucking cat or something like that. When the cat comes right up to me and starts purring and going on my leg, I know it's fucking okay. She hasn't eaten in a while. So she knows I'm a caregiver. She knows I'll fucking eat with her. So that's why I don't think it has anything to do with the cat, but you never know. Because, you know, cats are very spiritual. Cats are very meditative. I don't know, meditative's not really the right word, but I know cats meditate and they go like in the astral and do shit like that. Too many weird coincidences and stories and things I've seen with cats to not believe that. But, and I'll make my point why I think that may not be the case. But nonetheless, so the cat knows I'll care for it and all that. So the cat comes upstairs and, you know, I'm just not in the mood sometimes for cats to put their claws on the couch or for cats to play. You know, I just finished work and the wife's going to bed. I'm not getting any for another night. So I'm a little cranky. Laying there on the couch, decided to trying to figure out if I'm going to keep working on my video or not. I screen recorded a couple videos to add to it. Because I want to talk about Yaldabaoth, which is the word that I thought started with a J when I was talking about the God of the Bible, which is the Gnostic Archon creation from the Archon Sophia, which I love that fucking name. I can't see that Archon being evil whatsoever. I think Sophia is philosophy. I think that's where it all comes from. I think she helps you in knowledge, and the fact that she's made demonized and just another woman demon is just fucked up. Yeah, we don't talk about all the guy demons. It's always the worst thing in the world when there's a girl demon, but when guys are demons and it's all male demons, it's like, well, they just expect that, I guess. Anyways, I don't know why I'm such an advocate for women, and I hate the fact that women are being demonized. Could be my two little girls, could be my wife's rough life, maybe it's just me trying to save all the fucking women, which I know is a stupid fucking thing to try to do. But most women won't save themselves. They're just like any other person, you know. They get hard-headed, they get stuck in their own mind, they're not going to fucking do anything for themselves, so my wife has proof of that. But anyways, so last night after I listened to the whole Yaldabaoth thing that I'm going to put on here and I'll talk about after this little segment I'm doing right here, cat comes upstairs and there's some bug spray or something left on the couch, like looking at it like, fuck, why did the baby start spraying this in her mouth or something? Like, fuck, dumb. So I grab it, cat comes up in the living room, I pretend to shoot at the cat to scare her, right? Cat runs downstairs in the basement, main level, basement, upstairs. That's my home. All of a sudden, smash, big fucking glass shattered, like fucking loud as fuck. Okay, so that tells me if something fell from pretty fucking high. Now there's a couple glass things in my baby's room on top of her fucking shelf, on top of her fucking dresser, that could have did the equivalent of that sound. So first thing I go is I'm thinking it's in my daughter's room, but it wasn't. I didn't even make it to my daughter's room. My wife's coming out of the room like looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what kind of magical bullshit are you doing now that you're breaking glass? I'm like, I didn't do anything, babe. I didn't fucking, that's not me. We both look in the bathroom, and I have this candle holder in the bathroom that I used to use for my daughter's baths. And when I was in the bathroom, so I didn't have to take something off my temple, because I didn't always like bringing something from my temple in there, just because, you know, I know how sacred my temple is and shit like that, and I don't like fucking around with other people and my energy and shit like that, because there's always weird stuff that happens with my room, my temple. This is why I want to go to, that's why I'm changing rooms. But there's always weird stuff that happens when other people touch any of my stuff. But anyways, so maybe that's happened, and everybody's just telling me, no one touched your stuff, but maybe someone did, and they don't want to tell me because I'm going to give them the lecture. Weird shit happens every time, and now they even have the proof that weird shit happens, and they really don't want to tell me. It could be just simply that. But anyways, so after I scare the cat, the minute like I fucking go to throw it, cat runs downstairs, I go back to look at my phone and smash. So this little candle, it's a dollar store fucking item. It looks like a lamp. Because in the neophyte grade, you're only supposed to have like a lantern or a lamp, right? So my wife gave me this, and she was going to say this is the equivalent of that, which, you know, it worked. I used it. It's not the lantern they want like hanging from the ceiling where you put the candle in. But I mean, it's still a lamp nonetheless, and it works. So it's like a little lamp, and you put the candle in, and the lampshade is all glass around, but the candle just sits in between there. If it's a really big candle, it's going to stick above. So I always use the little smaller ones or tea lights. I think they are made for tea lights. But it's the candle holder I just use in the bath. Is there a little bit of wax still in there? Yes. But generally, I get rid of all my wax. I burn it in my cauldron, especially when I save a lot of my old wax from spells that I know aren't dire, like anything. I was just asking for knowledge, for wisdom, that I don't need right away. Things like that. You know, I'll save those for a day where I don't have a candle in the house, I haven't gone to the store, I don't have money maybe. Sometimes that does happen. Few and far between lately, but it does still happen. Yesterday was one of those days where we didn't want to touch anything in our bank account. So basically we had no extra money in the one account to use, so we go without. So we don't touch savings, which we don't have much savings, but at least we have savings. And I know it may not sound like much, but we just had to pay $600 and some odd because of this stupid impound fee. So, you know, that's saying a lot, still having money in there. But anyways, so yeah, the lampshade off of that candle holder hit the fucking ground. Now it was in the bathroom. Bathroom light was off, and normally if the light's on, there's a fan. There's a light right beside the shelf. Actually, you know what? The light was on. The bathroom fan sucks air out. It doesn't push air down. So anyways, this thing is on a corner shelf. At the top part of the shelf is about a foot from the ceiling in the bathroom, and the second shelf is about 2 feet, and the bottom shelf 3 feet. 3 feet's at my head level, okay? So like I'm the only one that could touch that one. The other two are higher. Not that there was anybody there. My youngest son was all the way downstairs in the basement, and he's shorter than me, about a foot shorter than me. And my baby was asleep, and my wife was in her room. Like, she was sleepy. She woke up from the sound of the smashing glass. So this is on a shelf higher than my head, where I don't even think the cat could get to. But the cat ran downstairs. Dog was in the kitchen. My baby and my wife are the only two on the top floor. And all of a sudden, that bitch falls down. And I haven't checked, but unless we had an earthquake that I couldn't feel, and she was right on the edge, and it rumbled down, and psh, that's fucked up. And this is just an example of what I'm talking about, like yesterday with the fucking buttons falling. You know, that's not so weird, but this is glass breaking. Glass breaking, some say, is a sign of curse, but if that thing breaks and then I start thinking I'm cursed, then I am cursed. Now, if someone is trying to get me via psychic attack, or it's just a nature spirit, I pissed off because I did kill a bug right before that, you know. And I'm always a little leery about when I kill bugs, but I always have this rule: if there's bugs in my house, I'm still going to make a candle, but I'm not going to not kill them, depending on the bug. Now, I was upstairs, so at night opening up the window means more shad flies in than it's worth to shoot the bug out. But during the day, I generally try to save the bug, and I shoot it outside and tell them, don't come in my house again, because if it's nighttime, I gotta kill you. But anyway, so I think I killed 2 bugs, and at work, there was a big fucking moth, man. Just came out of nowhere. like size of a bat, man. I swear to God, it scared the shit out of me. I was trying to catch it in a bucket to bring it outside. I think I might have hurt it when I tried to scoop it in the bucket because it fucking flew so fast, so I kept trying. Anyways, but yeah, so I don't know if that's what this is. Some nature spirits pissed off. Like, yeah, here's a fucking warning. But here's the thing, because the way the cap is on the candle holder, it sits inside where the candle goes, right? So it's like this little, if I get a chance, I'll show you guys it, okay? But the thing sits inside the candle holder. So for the top to come off and hit the ground, yet the other part still be there, it makes no sense, because if it would have just fell off, it has to come up and down. You know what I mean? It's so strange. So, you know, some people will say because I have all these dark books, even if they are on my phone, technically the sigils are in there. Maybe I've went through the sigils, you know, it doesn't matter. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to be scared of this. I was laughing. And here's the thing, like, this is that kind of shit that would have freaked me the fuck out before. But, you know, didn't freak me out at all. I made 2 candles. I offered 1 candle to the earth and fire spirits, and I gave the candle to the water and air spirits, and the water and air elementals, and the water and air elements, and the water and air archangels, and the water and air archdemons, and the water and air planetary energies, and the element obviously itself. I did that for fire and earth as well, all the same thing that I just said. But the archangel, dark demons, the fucking whatever. And I offered an apology and as compensation for the great life I have. And that's it. Both slept like babies, woke up, nothing weird's happening. You know, you just never know. But a simple gesture like that can change from, holy fuck, I'm cursed, and looking up all this cursed shit, putting it even deeper in your mind. Or you simply light a fucking candle, offer it to whatever you think you pissed it off. If you're gonna do research, try to research what the fuck you pissed off. And then now I'm no longer cursed, or, you know, I didn't take something small, something trying to get my attention, and change it into a curse, which it might not even have been meant for. Or it could have. Someone could have sent me something. All I was able to do, because it can't affect me with all this shit on, right? But it can affect my reality. It can send me a sign. Is when you start seeing reoccurring signs, like you keep hitting a bird keeps hitting the fucking window. A bunch of flies keep coming to this one spot, maybe. You keep getting the same smell. There's always dirt in this one pile, or you can't light a candle somewhere. Anytime you keep getting this reoccurring weird phenomena that you can't explain, it's something trying to tell you something. So, right here, this thing, I caught this yesterday before I even came home, and the little clasp thing I have that holds both of these on was coming apart. And I tighten these bitches myself. All my own jewelry, like I don't make this chain, I didn't make this chain or this thing. But when it comes to little clasp, when it comes to adding pendants, when it comes to fixing this chain when it breaks, I do all that work myself. I'm very good at very small things. I got a nice little process with a big magnifying glass and some custom-made tweezers I made. I'm very good at this. And I tighten this up tighter than what the fucking company makes it, okay? This is a real chain. These are all silver, mostly. Yeah, they're all silver. Silver's got a lot of protections. Gold, it might be silver. It might be silver-plated gold. I don't know. I can't remember now. It's probably silver-plated gold though, because silver, I think, offers more protection than gold, believe it or not. Which is why it's overlooked, and they want people to get gold more than silver. But anyways, so something's trying to get a hold of me and trying to tell me something. You know, like the night before, I thought the hamburger thing was trying to tell me something specific about what to listen to. I listened to it, and then the next day this happens. And now my wife even heard it. Now, it's one thing for something to happen in my reality for me to hear, but for something to wake up my wife, she wasn't scared, thank God. I thought she might have been a little shaken. She just kind of shook her head, and she was awake until I got into bed. I can hear her wrestling around, and like she's out like a light snoring. She was wrestling around, so she might have been a little on edge, but overall she was okay. And you know, I put wards up beside my bed, besides my baby's bed, around the basement door for the other kid, for Owen downstairs. I put wards up, or like I said, around my bed, and a few other protection things. Don't ever light sage at night unless you really have to. If you just have to use the sage, don't do it at night. I'm not convinced that sage does cast anything out of your house, unless it really doesn't like the smell. But anyways, yeah, so that was pretty cool. So real quickly, this is the item I'm talking about. So this is the candle holder that looks like a lamp. And you know, if I was to reattempt to put this back together, it would be, oh shit, you know, something to that effect. I'm missing some of the pieces, but this was the candle fucking thing that went around the top like that. So what I'm saying is, you know, it literally goes around it. I think it sits on the inside, but anyways, it was literally up on a top shelf and had to come off. And I'll show you the shelf where it was on. Right there beside this. That
oh, yeah, it's gold. Give me gold.
So yeah, that was the shelf that I just showed you real fast there with the gel, or sorry, with the face shaving cream was on. So anyways, so what's inside here right now is salt water that has been consecrated to specifically remove the negative energy of all these things, because I can put this in my garbage, but if that's on my property, I put these shatters in my garbage. If it's still on my property, it can still cause havoc. It can still follow the next person and shoot something else in the garbage, and treat negative energy and entities like they are viruses, like COVID. There's not much difference between a negative entity or negative energy and the flu or COVID. Cancer would be more of not so much a virus, but anyways, technically I shouldn't even be doing this on the table either, so I'm gonna have to fucking clean up this table. But I still have some salt water in the house that I was using for the floors, and I'm gonna dump that shit off my property, as am I gonna do with this after I completely cleanse this. This is gonna go in the garbage after it's cleansed. This is gonna go back on my altar though, because I'm gonna use this. I'm not gonna not use this now, especially when I know some energy or entity has been able to touch it, affect it. This water that's on my fingers now as well, I'm going to cleanse that off, and then I'm going to go record the rest of this in the car. But I just wanted to show you the thing that broke last night that no one was around, to tell you that your subconscious, the thought forms you create in your mind, and or whatever, shadow people, entities, energies, fucking ghosts, poltergeists, whatever you want to call it. It goes by different names, but all those different names do signify something different, and you can use and harness those things. But until you do, things like this can happen, especially if it's something like a nature spirit, earth elemental or water elemental, fire or air elemental, the elemental being the spirit of the earth element. So everything that's in the earth element needs protection. So in a small way of talking about karma, if you go and fuck over, you kill a bunch of bugs, you're polluting, you're cutting grass, maybe even sometimes, you can piss off nature spirits, earth spirits. So give them a candle, give them an incense, and say you're giving it to them to smooth it over, maybe as compensation for all the wealth and health that you have. Even if you don't think you've had those things, well, fake it till you make it, and then maybe you'll get it. But give an offering and say you're sorry, basically, and this stops happening. So yeah, that's just to show you what the fuck was going on. Yeah, so real quickly, so that's the candle holder, that's the shards there. And like I showed you, the shuffle was on, but I didn't really give you the height or anything, so I guess I'll give you a better perspective, if possible. And then I'll get into the secret and all that shit. So yeah, I'll zoom out. There's my floor. Alright. So right now where the camera is at my shoulder length. Let's see. Shoulders, head, right around shoulder length. So I keep going straight from my shoulder length. Right? So see, it's right above my shoulders. This is more like the shoulder length right there. Let's go with that. So my shoulder length, this is the shelf I get. There's the next shelf up, and this bitch was up here. So in perspective, the thing that flew down and broke last night with nobody around was that high. All right. So just so you know, there's my height. I'm above the mirror, and that thing's above there. So obviously I can grab that. Even my son could grab that because his head's up to my shoulder. So if he reaches up, he can touch the top shelf like this. He ends up going up on the toilet there to see if I hit anything up there, if anybody's hit anything up there, because he's very curious like that. But so yeah, pretty amazing for that to come out of the inside. Now, it might be just sitting on the top. I'm not positive. I don't remember. Now that it's broken, I really don't know. But, you know, it is what it is. But anyway, so, very cool when shit like that happens. Don't be scared about it. Just roll with the punches. Be like, you know, someone's trying to talk to me. I'm trying to get my attention. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's a dead ancestor, or a thought form thereof of your family member, your dead ancestor. But it doesn't mean poltergeist, doesn't mean ghost, doesn't mean haunting, doesn't mean cursed. It will if you let it mean that. But it doesn't have to mean that. It doesn't have to mean that one fucking bit. It's all on what you make it. And people could argue with me at that point who were in magic and say, no, too much glass starts breaking, your glass starts turning black, you start seeing flies, everything starts going to shit, you're cursed. But then those same people will say, well, it's all a matter of perspective. You can think you're broke, but instead of thinking you're broke, you could be thankful for all the stuff you do have, and then good stuff will come your way. Then why can't you do that with this curse? Why can't you just take the word curse out of your vocabulary, and when things happen that would normally, or you used to think was a curse, why can't you look at the positives? And so it is, meaning, well, I'm pretty lucky to have someone who's jealous of what I have to curse me. Therefore, I must be doing something right. I must be affecting people. Maybe it's elite people who don't want their secrets out, who are coming after me. That's pretty fucking flattering as well. That's awesome. That means I'm doing well. Maybe it's Christians who think I'm of the devil praying for me. And their thought forms, some of them might be powerful witches if they were to get rid of that programming. Who knows? And maybe it's those things coming here to talk to me. Maybe it's thought forms I've created that I've forgotten about that I need to delete. Maybe I didn't keep a promise. Maybe I was supposed to do something and I forgot all about it, and then life happens, and then no excuse, but you're supposed to write these things down. But, you know, lo and behold, I forgot about it and something's pissed off. All of the above. Understand that breaking glass, popping lights, things like that, mad entities, mad energy, mad thought forms. But for the amount of energy it takes them to knock over that piece of glass, that's as bad as it can get. Not necessarily like your life going into chaos and financial troubles, wife fucking around you, shit like that. That's arguably worse than a breaking candle holder. But once again, it can't necessarily affect you physically. So to be physically as scared of these things like I was, no word of a lie, I'm not shitting anybody. I was so fearful of seeing a spirit. Even when I was a Christian, if I was to see the dead Jesus, even if he was all glowy and light and loving and not saying anything scary, but if I was to see that or any of my ex-family members at the end of my bed, child, teenager, teen, late 20s, to like the beginning of my 30s, because it's not like I just started this path and it was obviously, I wasn't afraid anymore. Not the case. I had to have some run-ins to realize that these things aren't as portrayed on TV, and that took time to get over, because even though I can comprehend that there's nothing to fear, when the nighttime hits and there's something happening that you weren't expecting, obviously, because if you expect it, it doesn't really happen, but when you're not expecting it, then it starts happening. Well, the thing your subconscious seen the most was scary movie, kids, ghosts, as a kid, ghosts, clowns, fucking evil, dark, shadowy things mean evil, you know what I mean? That's been deeply ingrained in here, so you can consciously understand that all you want, but until you have enough experience, it's really not going to change the programming in here. So I got over it, thank God, and I realized that these things aren't hurting me, aren't trying to hurt me, and they can't. And as long as I don't do anything to keep pissing them off, then they won't put my life in disarray. And even more than that, I can continuously keep them happy, and in case I do piss them off inadvertently by accident or hanging out with a bunch of people that I don't normally hang out with, and, you know, they decide to get upset over something I said or did, then, you know, I'll be thankful for all those candles I give them, because then they might think twice. All right, so I was going to get set to talk about Yaldabaoth, which was a while ago. I talked about the Gnostic story of the 26 or 36 archons. Last one being Sophia, who created her own entity, which would be, I guess, a demon or an archon or god. And the name is Yaldabaoth, which ends up becoming Jehovah or Yod-Heh Vod-Heh, the god, of the Old Testament. And I wanted to talk about that because whether you believe in archons or not, Yaldabaoth is a real thing that you can use, an entity. And I found some more extra information that I think is quite enlightening about it, especially to the Christians, about, because, you know, people say archons are there, they're thriving off our fear, and I never really bought that, but there's something that kind of rang true about that. And I'm not saying what I'm about to tell you is all true either, but anyways, I'm going to do that in the next video, since this video is promising the secret. Now, the secret of why magical orders work, magical systems work, why you can sometimes not follow the rules even to these magical systems, but then once you know what the real rules are, you know, things, you have to start doing it by the right way, depending. It all falls under the same rule, okay? The secret. When I'm saying the secret, I'm not talking about the secret like the movie The Secret, about manifesting your desires and all that law of attraction shit, although it does work for that as well. The reason why the law of attraction can work for most people, the way they packaged it in that fucking thing, I mean, most people it didn't work for them, but some people it did. And the reason these things work, okay? Now, one reason that the more people that use a magical system, the more popular it is, the more likely it will work, okay? That's definitely something that comes into effect here. But you don't even have to have anybody. You can make up your own and have success. And it's the number one reason why these things work, why people pay big bucks to get in the Golden Dawn, or why all the presidents and everybody do Kabbalah, but they do Kabbalah, but they start with qliphoth. Now, people aren't wrong when they say that qliphoth is a draconian version of magic. It's dark magic. And then some people even go as far as to say it's Kabbalah is dark magic, who don't even know about the qliphoth. And, you know, people end up finding out that Masons, the President's Skull and Bone Society, all these different fraternities / secret groups are mystery magical schools. And they do these things. And this is why these people have success. But it's not because that, my eyes look cool, almost look like snake eyes. My green, brownish ass eyes. Look at, I'm a draconian, baby. Yeah. Don't suppress your fucking, your reptilian nature. Don't suppress anything. Let it all free, baby. Anyways, the reason why they do use these systems is because they work. These systems work. They have a high success rate. And the way to become a balanced person, I'm not saying the politicians or the presidents or the Masons are balanced. I'm not saying that at all. I know that a lot of people get lost in the qliphoth. A lot of people get lost in the tree of life or the tree of death, or both. A lot of people get lost in their own arrogance when they start being able to do things. Okay? So I'm not saying that they do these things and they become enlightened. I'm saying they start these processes and then they get their success, and then they just kind of ride it out maybe at a certain point. Maybe some continue, maybe some don't. But they do these things because they work. And the reason they work is because of the faith that you have. It doesn't matter what you believe in. It doesn't matter, sorry, that's wrong. It doesn't matter whether you think the tree of life works or doesn't work. It doesn't matter if you think the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram works or doesn't work. It doesn't matter if you think meditation works or not. Your opinion doesn't mean shit. You're allowed to have your opinion. And in your reality, meditation can be horse shit. Magic can be horse shit. Witchcraft can be horse shit. Kabbalah, tree of death, tree of life could all be horse shit. Your belief is not necessary. But the one thing your belief does do is when you have belief, and you're believing in something that's within the rules of this realm, you can do anything within those rules of this realm. Meaning these systems, whoever created the Golden Dawn system, whoever created the Lesser Banishing Ritual, the pentagram, and the middle pillar, and the microcosmic orbit, and various Taoistic traditions, exercises, and rituals, just like different martial arts rituals. Kung Fu, man, there's Kung Fu types of magic that work phenomenal. I've studied a bit of it. I don't practice it, so I'm not going to pretend I am, but it's fucking cool, man. I would love to try it, but those kinds of things, I'm pretty sure you need a master to follow. You can read as much as you want about Kung Fu, and you can watch as much videos, but unless you have a master or someone to spar with, you know, because like I'm learning a lot about the flow of energy, microcosmic orbit. I do a lot of Taoist rituals and exercises to learn the flow of energy, so if the day ever comes that I can actually practice using someone's own energy or using my energy within a fighting situation, circumstance, that at least I'll have the groundwork in. But all these things, if the practitioner has faith, if they believe in what they're doing, if they believe it works, if they start this. And here's the thing, you know, they say you can't fake belief, and you know that's probably real, but I fake, or so I can't really fake. Is it belief? I want to say it's more like emotion. So Frater Xavier, for example, for the How to Win the Lottery, he says you can't fake the emotion. That has to be genuine. So whenever you're trying to bring something in manifestation, he's like, this is why he can't win the lottery and why it's so hard to win the lottery using magic. And I've shown many times, and I'm still winning off the handle. I'm way above $300 now from that sigil I did 2 months ago, I want to say now, or at least a month ago. I said I was going to keep winning on bingo tickets, not in the lottery, but bingo tickets. And I can win on those bitches all the time, anywhere from $100 to just $3. But I always win. I mean, there are times where I don't win, but I buy multiple cards, and so I still always win every time I buy. And that's because I planted that into my subconscious via sigil first, so that I can get the faith. Because if I plant in in my mind that I'm always just waiting, I win on every ticket. Well, then once I start winning on every ticket, that programs me to have faith that I'm going to win on every ticket. You understand? It's a circle, and you have to manipulate this circle. Once you manipulate this circle, you can accomplish anything. So to get faith, to be able to have the emotion to fake the winning the lottery, you have to implant the suggestion into your subconscious that you always win the lottery. And fake it till you make it. Say it, affirm it as much as you can. Once it starts happening, that's your action, right? So you have your action, you have the thought, you have your intent, and then now you're putting the emotion into it, bringing it to life. So it's just going to keep getting bigger. You got to practice it to make it bigger, and this is how you get to that emotion where you can win the lottery, because you've worked on the faith aspect of it all. Well, the faith aspect is what carries the most weight. So if you've looked into magic before and you tried it for 2 or 3 days and nothing happened and you gave up on it, well, whenever you become a little more disciplined and you actually try it for real and start reading and doing the proper exercises, you'll come to find out that shit, there's some real to this. And then you'll lose faith because bad things will happen, and then you'll try things and they won't work right away, and you'll lose faith, and then all of a sudden you'll stop and those things will happen, and then your faith will keep getting bigger. But when someone starts one of those systems, pays a lot of money for one of those systems, it's because they've done the research and they believe in it. And the more you believe in what you're doing, the more real it gets, the more likely you're going to have success, the more faith you have. Okay? Belief in faith, belief systems. That's why belief systems can be so damaging and harmful to people, and why people are fucked right up. But in the same sense, if you harness belief in the correct way, there's nothing stronger than that. Ever fight against somebody who believes in Christianity or God or their side of the political scheme, or wherever they decide to plant their flag and fucking choose a side? There's nothing stronger than polarity that's built on belief. That's where you get the belief systems. It's a systematic polarity belief system that the person you can't get through to somebody like that.
They can only see their point of view, and that's what makes us powerful. So when someone has that kind of belief in the golden dawn, in magic, well, when you believe in something that has endless potential, meaning you can create your reality, anything you put in your subconscious mind will filter into your reality. Whenever you have that kind of stupid belief that Christians have in God and Jesus, and the kind of stupid belief that people have in the political way of life and the law and the system and all that, when you put that into magic, into witchcraft and ceremonial magic, into whatever type of magic you're doing, then you are becoming that God that people talk about. Now, it's not a God in the sense of the word God means the Almighty, because in the story I'm going to show you, the thing I'm going to talk about in my next video about Yaldabaoth and all that, he became the God of this realm that the Christians believe. But he is an archon, and the definition that they're going to give for archons, which I think is closer to the truth, is archons are entities that don't want people to transform. They want to keep you blind, deaf, dumb. That is their job. Now, was that entity programmed to do that? Was that entity created to do that, such as a thought form? Maybe, probably. That's kind of where I'm going. But technically, when the people call it an archon instead of just a demon or anything like that, it tends to be something that's something else created. But even in that story where Sophia, she saw the All-Father, the All, create the realm that she is in. And she was so moved by him creating that she wanted to create something and be like the All-Father. I hope I didn't say he. I don't want to give it a gender because I don't know. Who can know? It's probably genderless. It doesn't follow our rules. We have to follow our rules. That's why people are going against the gender thing, you know, saying I'm not a girl, I'm a guy, I'm not a guy, I'm a girl. That's fine. Do that. If you're transsexual, you know, you got your own bag of issues, and be who you want to be. But you have to follow the rules of gender in this realm, and I'm not saying that to diss anybody. If you want to be a they or whatever one of your words, go for it. All the power to you. You have that right and you have that freedom, and I support you. Just try to stay within the gender rules, because everything has to be male or female. And if you're both in your own new gender, you're Mercury, you're Hermes. That's fucking amazing. Good for you. That's awesome. But anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about that. I hate talking about that shit because I'm always worried I'm gonna offend people, and I don't want to do that. I want us to unite, not be separate. But where was I going? Oh yeah, so she wanted to create like the All-Father. So the All is in that story, and that's what created Sophia. And Sophia is the one who created the God of the Bible, who doesn't want people to open their eyes. He wants us all to be blind, deaf, or dumb. And you can call on the Spirit. It's an entity. We can command it. Yeah, it's the God of the Bible that the Christians are telling you to follow. And now everything that they're doing seems to follow that same rule. It doesn't want anybody else to transform. Don't use magic. It's of the devil. Everything bad is of the devil. We are perfect. We're going to heaven. You guys are all going to hell. They don't want anybody to transform. You know what I mean? It makes perfect sense to me. But anyways, that's the secret. The secret is when you put belief, the belief you have in your own abilities is the only thing. It can make or break you, basically. If you don't believe you're deserving of this, if you have any self-limiting beliefs, if you have any religious beliefs or programming in here, then you're not going to be able to fucking succeed. But if you believe in yourself, you can overpower those, you can overrule those. It's probably the only thing that can overrule programming is belief. More belief in what you're doing now than the program belief in there. Doesn't mean that just because you have so much belief consciously in the system that you'll be able to do it. No. If you know you have religious belief, and you don't even have to even know what the religious belief is, but if you know you went to a religious school and you went to church often and you're around people that talked about church constantly and Jesus and quoted Bible passages, well then you got religious belief. You don't need to go any further. And what you need to do is start every fucking day for this month, for this next 30 days. 21 days minimum, fucking 3 months maximum. At least, actually I'd say maximum of a year. But every day you need to listen to something that slowly removes that religious programming and puts in magical programming. And Frederick Xavier has just the video. It's the not so great debate. It's him against a Christian. It's more than an hour long. You listen to that baby once in the morning, once at night, as you're waking up, as you're going to bed. I'm telling you, in 21 days, well, I'd go with 30, be safe, but you'll have that belief gone and you'll have the new belief put in you. That doesn't mean anything that's built upon that old belief might fall with that belief. So you might lose some other shit. So be careful. And if you can, try to brainstorm of all the beliefs that you think you may have. And the best way to find this out is where you're polarized. You need to go through things. You need to start watching opposite information on YouTube, on wherever you watch your information. Read books that you wouldn't ever read because you think they're horseshit and bullshit, and because it goes against your belief. And then you can start writing down all your belief systems, all the places where you're for, while against will help you remove that belief. And I'm not saying you need to do that in all aspects of your life. I'm just saying anywhere where it's money is of the devil, magic is of the devil, those kinds of things are going to stop you from getting money. And even doing healing magic, you won't be able to do any of that shit that's in your head. It's going to stop you unless you can believe in magic more. But even that, how do you believe in magic more? How do you have ultimate belief? Well, you put in Frederick Xavier's testimonials or anybody's testimonials about how magic's changed their life. You listen to that. It doesn't matter if it's real or fake. It is real, but it doesn't matter if it's real or fake. Just like watching Grey's Anatomy. That's not fucking real, but yet our statistics in life that they use on the show are real. Why? Because we all watch those shows. The collective knows that. There's more people that watch that show than there's people that don't watch that show probably, and that's in our collective. And so that filters down into our reality. Now it's real. You understand how this works? But anyways, that's the secret, the belief. As long as someone believes in it, it's real. That means it's in the collective as real. That means the more minds that jump on, make that system more powerful. But even if there's not a bunch of minds that believe in what you're doing, like ceremonial witchcraft, that's what I do. It's my own system, which is a hodgepodge of all these other systems. But it works because it takes from all these systems that actually do work, that people use. Therefore, I have a bunch of systems that work, that have other people's energy, and I use all that, and then I turn it into all one. So I'm able to use different types of magic simultaneously because I've rebranded it as a specific type of magic called ceremonial witchcraft. Anyways, I'm gonna start working on the next video since it's quiet. There's no one here, and I'll be in the car to record for once. So hope you enjoyed. Don't worry about the freaky stuff. Believe in yourself, and there's nothing you can't do. And the more you practice, the better you get at anything. That's just common sense, or it should be. And yeah, have a great fucking day. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, what's going on, everybody? So I put out, holy fuck, I put out about an hour and 30-minute video yesterday with one clip from Frederick Xavier, very small, like 5 minutes, saying consent and contract and not do it that well. Let he who will be deceived. And stating a little bit about that. I played it one part, so a small part out of that, twice basically. There's 2 clips from him, but it was the same clip. One was just smaller than the other. And then I played something from The Little Mermaid. That was something that from The Little Mermaid that was I'm losing my train of thought. Relevant, I thought, to that, and then I explained it. But I haven't recorded in a while, so for a couple weeks, well, no, a couple days, maybe like from last Thursday till yesterday, I had a bunch of recordings that I was gonna make a video about, but then I never actually did it. So I added everything in there. So instead of giving you 15-20 minutes a day, I gave you all in one shot, all in one fucking shot, everything I had. So that's what you got yesterday. I think at the beginning and the last 30 minutes probably, and the first 20 or 30 minutes is probably the best of that video. And in the middle, it was all just kind of whatever, how I was feeling, what was going on. I mean, I think there's something in there throughout the entire video that is going to help whoever, but not necessarily everybody needs to hear the whole thing. So if you're going to watch it, and then you see it's an hour and a half long, I'd say watch the first 20 minutes, and then watch the last 30 to 40 minutes if you feel inclined to. You don't have to. You can say, well, Corey, that's an hour. Yeah, it's an hour. So there's probably about a half an hour worth of shit on there. I guess maybe
a little bit before and after the fucking Little Mermaid clip, and definitely before and the clip from Mind and Magic. But anyways, you don't have to do any of that. Maybe I'll condense it myself and only put the relevant parts on there and make a new video out of it. Oh no, I can't. I just deleted the video. Awesome. Well, I can screen record my own video and then edit it. But anyways, all that to say is I'm going to go through something today. I don't know if anybody wants to know this or not, but I generally know that some people, not all people, but a lot of people nowadays, if they don't have the motivation to do something, you know, they're okay with listening to something, but sometimes when you tell them to read a book, you know, shit like that, it's like, oh, no, I'm going to read a fucking book, fuck your book. But in all honesty, you're probably better off to read the fucking book. But in the beginning of me doing my podcast, I actually recorded the audio of Kabbalah and the Great Work of Self-Transformation. Whenever you let the book play, I recorded it because I was trying to upload my PDF file to my website, which is ceremonialwitchcraft.com, which really doesn't have much to it or anything really of relevance on there, except for snapshot of how many PDFs were on my phone at the time, which was like almost 900 or maybe almost 1,000. I can't remember now. And also it had I had some of this. I had a bunch of screenshots from all the books that some relevant titles of books on there, in case anybody ever wanted to hit me up with an email and ask for any of these books. Once again, it's very simple and easy to find these books yourself, but it was in case anybody was too lazy to do it or didn't want to do it, or you know, I already had it and I'll give it to them. So, but because I want to get that information out, because I want people to know what the curriculum is all about, I put snapshots of the Neophyte checklist, of a bunch of different things that are important, pictures, I think, anyways, on my website as well, that have to do within the grades, what you need for the grades, and the list of all the books and shit that you need for the grades. Once again, I took snapshots of those books. I think all the books, because all the books you need, I have also, because obviously I needed to use them, I needed to read them. So, but, where the fuck was I going with that? But, you know, I guess I'm just going to do it over again. I'll probably read to you the Neophyte checklist, basically to tell you when you're done your Neophyte and all the things you do within your Neophyte stage. So if someone doesn't want to read the book for whatever reason, which, you know, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the book by people not getting it, but in the same sense, if it's a free book and I give it out the free download, well, then maybe I am doing the guy a disservice by giving that away. But at least if people know what the Neophyte's all about, then they can put it to rest in their mind, like, okay, I'm going to do that, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that, oh, maybe it's bad, or maybe it's good, or, you know, they don't know what to do, so they just don't do anything. But that doesn't serve anybody, and at least if you hear what is entitled in the first grade, if you decide you like it, then you can do it. If you decide, no, fuck that, I ain't doing it, then, you know, you don't do it. I mean, it's pretty simple. Simple as that. So that is the point of me doing this. That's what I figure anyways. That's what I feel like I should do anyways. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna read you off the Neophyte checklist that you know when you're done. I'm going to give you all the exercises that are within that. And yeah, and you can make your decision if you like it or not, or if you want to do it or not. It's all up to you. But, you know, maybe I can go over a few things I forgot to say yesterday. About, you know, whatever I was fucking talking about with the consent and contract. Like, you know, King Trident, I said, you know, he ends up turning into the little fucking whatever it is after she zaps him, trades Ariel for him. You know, and that's something any father would fucking do, like, without a question, straight up. But there's, I remember listening to it and, you know, realizing, like, that crown had 5 things on it, like the pentagram. He had 3 on the trident. That's 8. That's Mercury. That's why he's got all this power connected. You know, he can do whatever he wants. He can breathe under and above water. You know, he can turn. Anyways, there's just when I watched it again, it's like, man, I missed a lot of the shit I really wanted to talk about, because the way my mind runs away with shit. I got a diesel beside me. That's why it's so loud. Sorry. The way my mind runs away with shit, ideas, and whatever else, it's just crazy. Just crazy how it works. But nonetheless, you know, I still think there was some good information in there. But, you know, I didn't give you everything I wanted to give you, because the point of talking about consent and contract, the point of talking about he who will be deceived, let them be deceived, is that our world, our rulers, our government, whoever, even our jobs, our bosses, everybody uses this a lot. If you can deceive somebody, let them be deceived. It almost implies that you can deceive people, but if you do it in a certain way, then there's not really any karma to it. Because you can say, well, Corey, if you deceive someone, you trick someone into doing something, you're going to get bad karma. You don't want the bad karma, do you? You don't want shit to go wrong, do you? Shit like that. It's like, well, in all honesty, I don't think that's how it works. I think if you feel bad about it, if you feel bad about tricking somebody, then you can get bad karma. But it's all about balance. You have to do things like that for many reasons. There's many reasons why you would have to deceive somebody from time to time. And the reason being, they need to learn a fucking lesson too sometimes. Once in a while, it's important for people to learn fucking lessons. And how do people learn lessons? Well, they learn it the hard way. But more importantly than that, what you think deceiving somebody is, what you think is wrong, it may not be someone else's version of it. And this is why the moral compass that religions have, that even, like Wicca, harm none, that whole philosophy of harming nobody to get what I want, is not likely possible in all aspects of how you want to break it down, because you might be harming yourself by giving yourself 10 grand if you have an addiction. What the fuck is that going to do? Well, if you have an addiction problem and you get 10 grand, you're going to put the 10 grand up your nose, in a fucking joint, in a fucking the crack pipe, wherever, you know what I mean, in a fucking needle. You are going to blow through that and be worse off than you were before it. But your magic worked. So this is why we have these conscious blocks and subconscious blocks and all that shit. But it doesn't mean it always works. There are some people out there that are lucky, or they think it's luck anyways, but really it's their mind. They have this, the way their energy and their birth chart set up, they're connected almost always, and they can think things into existence even though they don't know it. Like, it's not always the case, but there are people like that. And generally those people normally end up getting off the drugs or whatever it is that is burdening them, whether it's lottery, casino, fucking gambling, whatever. But there are people out there that just are more in tune, just like some people I believe can see whatever it is, thought forms, spirits, fucking otherworldly shit. But it's really not otherworldly because we're creating it. Whether it's our dead ancestors, not ancestors, your dead ancestors you can call on, you can use, but the things we think are spirits, and we might think it's someone from the beyond, that person who I just wish I would get a message from them, well, if they ever do that right, and not at the same time saying in their head, oh, I'm never going to get a message from them, this shit's not even how this works, blah, 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 blah. They're not doing something counter to that. Well, they are going to create a circumstance where they are going to have some kind of message come to them via, their subconscious mind will create some kind of thought form, some entity that will do this paranormal experience. Even people that are maybe less evolved or polarized, or say they're spiritual, but really they're probably just fake Christians. But they'll even admit to this. Christianity for however long was doing exorcisms, and apparently they're still doing them to this very day, yet have never seen someone possessed by a demon the way they describe their exorcisms. But that's something I don't know about, so I'm not gonna fucking tell you what I think about it, because regardless, if I don't know, why would I give you my opinion? But nonetheless, I think possession and shit like that is just the person could be having a seizure and someone could misconstrue that as a demon taking them over, or someone could be, it doesn't fucking move. But anyways, that is besides the fucking point. The point I'm trying to get at is, I don't even know now. Our subconscious mind is super powerful. It's our link to the divine. It's how you connect to the divine. It's how you get all the information that ever is, was, and ever will be. Something happens to people when they start. They're going on the spiritual path, and they may have a lot of success, but then they might plateau. They might not be doing so well anymore. Obviously, it's not them because they're evolved. Obviously, it's not them because they've done all this work to make themselves perfect. So everything they know is serving them, and everything everybody else is talking about or knows is all horseshit and bullshit. You know, for somebody to have to go around telling people that their beliefs are false, okay? Someone has to really make a point to tell you that your beliefs aren't serving you and you need to stop believing in that. It's like, why does that matter? Why do you care? Do you really think that someone who's polarized against you is going to learn from you? Now, I'd admit that there are times where you can bring something out of somebody. You can talk to them maybe rationally, maybe get them to see the light, but very, very few times, if you have the opposite point of view or opinion about a certain topic, especially a polarizing one like religion or politics or something that, you know, if there's something that you were born and programmed since you were a child, if you're arguing a point like that with somebody, you know, you might be wasting your time. But it doesn't mean it's a complete waste of time in the sense of you're not going to change that person's mind, but you might have people that are watching, that are on the fence, and you know, if you're giving them new information that actually helps them come to the realization that, let's say, okay, they're trying to drop the Christian programming because it doesn't serve them anymore, they pray to God, it never works, the priests don't tell them the truth, priests are touching all these little fucking boys and doing all this molestation and bullshit. Maybe they were even molested, so, but they're trying to find a reason to drop the religion, yet there was programmed in them, so it feels like it's wrong to drop it, but all that is just your programming. And you know, if you're giving them more facts that they can come to a decision and drop that, well then that's not a bad thing. But to argue with somebody, you know, make fun of them, calling them names, and then, you know, pretending to be more evolved, smarter than them, whatever, it's like, well, no, you're not more intelligent than this person if you're fucking calling them names and getting mad because they don't believe what you are saying. And I get it, if they're not looking for the information and they're only looking for information that suits them, you know, people just want to know, people want to hear what they already know, and they want it to be reaffirmed, and I've done that before. And the only time I do that now is whenever I'm in a quote-unquote shitty mood. If I'm in a shitty fucking mood or I'm down and, you know, there's nobody around like my wife to go do something or whatever, I'll put on these fluffy, airy-fairy fucking new age videos that I, you know, when I started off my journey, I watched that made me feel good about myself, you know, different like ascension symptoms and signs and are you an earth angel and shit like that. You know, just these fucking things that are meant to make you fucking think you're special. And we are all special, but nonetheless, I mean, everybody's so different. But I put those on just because I know when you listen to something that you already know, it helps reaffirm it. When you hear it from somebody else, different point of view, it helps. Now, more often than not, I will just write when I'm in a shitty mood. And as I start writing, I could be, you know, pissed off about something with my kids. And then I could be trying to write about something spiritual, whatever, third eye bullshit, fucking how to do your circle, you know, your temple, the tools, I don't know, anything. And what's going to start happening is I'm going to be talking about this, but I'm going to be dwelling on whatever I was pissed off about through my kids, and I will create circumstances and write about whatever I was going to write about. Like, it could be still magic, but I'm going to be drawing on that anger, that whatever frustration that I was feeling, and I'm going to put it into that. So what I was going to talk about is going to be skewed by that. But, and this is why I don't make episodes when I am mad or sad. You know, the closest I got, I've done it a few times, very on the edge, but like my last video, I started one of the parts off with I'm having a shitty day, bitchy, blah 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 blah, all that crap. I forget exactly what I said, you know, and that's as far as it goes. But same thing when if I write, because this is what this is when me talking on here. I mean, there's many reasons why I do this, but above all,
and this is something that just recently that I found out, but above all, what it does is help me think, helps me work out problems. And I said that, I'm like, I've shown the proof of what Jordan Peterson says. I've shown the proof scientifically how it works, you know, in your mind, biologically. But if you read a lot, that's great. You got a lot of information, but you can't really piece it together. If the way to get correspondences, and if you have correspondences down, if you can correspond to anything, if you can take something complicated, you know, as like fucking physics, but you understand physics, then you understand a wide range of other things. Well, then you can have, if you know correspondences, then you can take something as complicated as physics and use a correspondent, the law of correspondence. You can use a correspondent to explain how physics work. And you can say, well, how does that, what do you mean by that? What does that mean? Well, it means as above, so below. It means if I want to explain to you how the planets work, or how gravity, quote unquote, works, or how, you know, if you jump off a building and you let go of an apple at the same time, you guys are going to stare at each other at the same time as you fall to your death. You want me to explain it to you? I can, and I can use an analogy, simile, metaphor, comparison with cars on the highway going at the same speed, or mathematics, or anything else, and it will explain the complicated topic with something that you already have experience with. That's what correspondences are. And I believe that by talking like I am now, recording, writing, these things are how you get better at that. So you can read books all day long and program your mind to do stuff, and that's great, but this is what happens as a result of, like, when I asked to have more intelligence and put that intelligence into practice so I can become wise. You know, when I wrote those on those sigils all those times in a row, every single day, there's not a day that hasn't gone by where I don't give an offering to a deity and ask for something. And there's been months on end where I've asked to be more intelligent and wise. And, you know, this is how it happens. You just start doing stuff, and then all of a sudden, out of that comes something. It's something you do new. It's something you've always done, but maybe you change something, and out of that, something, boom. That's how your magic fucking manifests. And, you know, by recording more, that's how I work out with these complicated problems, and it's how I come up with whatever ideas I'm coming up with next. So, something very important to do is, if you don't want to record, if you don't feel comfortable talking, recording yourself, putting out videos, you don't have to. You can just voice record it. This way, because like for me, writing is hard. And it's not hard because I have a hard time writing, but it's hard because the shit comes so fast, my hand can't go as fast. But my lips seem to be able to go just as fast. Not quite as fast, but in the same sense, you get way more info, I think, when you write, but you might not all get it all down. So I think it evens out in the end anyway. All right, so right before I do my meditation, before I get to work there, I just want to say a few things about writing, and then maybe just put this out, and then the next video I put on either tonight or tomorrow will be the checklist and what you have to do during your neophyte, based on the curriculum of the book by Liam Thomas Christopher. Anyways, Kabbalah and the great work of self-transformation. And once again, this is powerful stuff, and it's to be treated with respect, regardless if you think it's an Abrahamic religion or not. It's not. It's using the names and the God names that are in the Abrahamic religion to give yourself power. And you also do exercises like the 4 adorations of the sun. Basically, there's 4 times a day you have to go out and you got to say something, but it's based on Egyptian mythology, and then some of it's based on Golden Dawn practices, and then some of it's based on you know, it's a wide variety of different spiritual paths culminating, but you go outside 4 times a day and you say something about the sun. That syncs you up with the sun. There's things in there to sync you up with just nature, period, the moon. Anyway, so that'll be my next video. But something people need to think about and realize, whenever you're doing, when you're writing, what are you doing when you're writing? Where you're sitting down and you're being quiet and you're trying to call it channeling, don't call it channeling, I don't care, but there's ideas in your head. You have to brainstorm, you have to channel, you have to, all right, I want to write about something. And all of a sudden, I don't know how it works for you, because I don't know how you are. But inside my head, when I go to write something, whether it was an essay for school, or it's something right now, or I'm trying to work out a problem, or, you know, I'm writing my fucking New Year's resolution, whatever it is, I just start going, and the ideas just start flowing to me. And as they're going through my head, my conscious mind has to pick them up, put them on the paper. And I've never necessarily understood it until now, but it's deeply spiritual the way it works whenever you are sitting down trying to write. These ideas are literally floating in your mind, and you have to put it down on the paper. You're observing your own thoughts, basically, and this is how this helps you put things together. If you just have a bunch of ideas in your mind, if you are just intaking information, that's great, it's in your mind, but how do you put that all together? Well, you have to either talk, record yourself, whatever, in front of the mirror, speak to somebody. That's why there's healing and going to see a priest, a fucking psychologist, a therapist, but because then you put all your ideas together. Or whenever you sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Oh yeah, when you're writing, you know, all these ideas that you have are getting put together. And say it's you doing it, because technically it's a part of you doing it, but it's not the part that you consciously control. When you read something, you read it, it goes in your mind, and then what happens to it? Do you know? I don't. But it's there, it's stored in there. And then when you go to write something, well, depending on your mood and what you're feeling that day, you're going to be drawing on your past experiences, and all that information that's stored in there is going to be coming out to add to that. And that's where this law of correspondence is. This is where corresponding things, putting things together, is so important. That's why I think writing helps you with that. It helps you with so much more than just that. But the one common denominator from when I was not so good at corresponding things and putting things together to where I am now, I'm not going to say I'm great at it, but, you know, I think I do a pretty good job. But I'm biased, obviously. I'm on Team Corey, Team Ceremonial Witch, Team Ceremonial Witchcraft. But, you know, when you write or record or anything like that, it helps you put all your ideas together. It helps you put things together, and then you could see it's almost as if you have something teaching you, but you have to activate it. And, you know, meditation is great, and this happens during meditation, but you're not logging it, you're not recording it. So you don't always remember it, just like your dreams. The reason you got to keep a dream journal is when you keep a dream journal, then you can remember your dreams. But if you don't keep a dream journal, it's very hard to remember your fucking dream. And once you affirm to yourself that I'm going to start remembering my dreams, you say that before you go to bed, and you start actually writing it, you start remembering it. And then you can analyze those things, and then you can start controlling your dreams. You know, I don't have much control over dreams, but I can become conscious within a dream when it happens. Now, I can't control if I'm going to dream or not. I wish I could. And I can't even all the time do this. But it's like, you know, if I get 4 dreams in a week, sometimes 2, at least one of those I'll be able to gain consciousness within there and hold it for a bit before I wake up. And to me, that's practice. It's little by little, you know. Hopefully, you know, in the next couple of months, it'll be a steady 2 dreams that out of the 4 that I can hold. And then, you know, 2 months after that, maybe it'll be 3, maybe it'll be 4, and then maybe I'll start dreaming more, and I can make that up, you know, baby steps. But if you're always taking small steps towards a goal, that's where the reward system happens. Your mind, your dopamine release system happens when you, well, negative, there is negative feelings that can release dopamine as well. Whenever you start gossiping with somebody and there's something you really hate or you really love, dopamine's released. Just like whenever you have a goal in mind and you start having steps towards that goal, you start seeing that goal is going to come into reality, okay? That releases dopamine, which is the same fucking effect of when someone's taking heroin or painkillers, any opiate-based thing. That's where the opiates go. It connects that place with the dopamine. Basically, opiates make you release that dopamine even if you don't have anything happy going on in your life. Therefore, people get addicted to that, obviously, because, well, who wouldn't want to feel happy all the time? It's not necessarily anyways. But this is what happens. So you start hitting towards your goal, you start getting dopamine releases. Likewise, whenever you start writing, and first you sit down, you don't know what to write on the paper. You start writing, and things just start flowing to you. You get so lost in the moment, at least I do anyways. It's so exciting. that it's a small dopamine release. Everything can be. And once again, polarity is polarity. We call this thing negative and positive, or negativity and positivity. But in all honesty, those aren't the real names for it. That's the human name of it. Just like all information is just human interpretation of what they see. And then we teach other humans that this is what this is. And that's all it ever is. But technically, to you, whether it's all the way to the left, to the negative side, or all the way to the right, the positive side, whether it's cold or hot or light or dark, when you have either one of those extremes, there is a dopamine release in your mind, in your brain, that happens, and you feel good. That can happen as a result of negative or extreme positivity. Anyways, so, well, it was just to say the whole writing thing is super beneficial. I know I look a little fucked up right now. I'm just laying down, about to meditate before work. But it's so beneficial. If you, here's another good little exercise you can fucking do. Think about that. Think about what happens when you're writing. Think about what's transpiring when you're writing. Think about where those thoughts are coming from when you're writing something down and you're just getting thought after thought after thought. I mean, I don't know about you, and maybe this is just me. Maybe I am some kind of genius, because if other people don't experience this, then I don't know, I guess I'm just weird, but I'm pretty positive most people experience this, and I get thoughts and ideas that I've never put together, never heard before. You know, and it's a result of knowing, I know A and I know B, but I really didn't put it together and know C, D, E, and F. But now that I say it, it makes sense, but I've never come to that conclusion. Sorry about that. I ran out of memory again. See, when you read something, you read about A and you read about B, and you have someone's interpretation, someone's definition, someone's view, someone's opinion, someone's whatever. Maybe it's all data, maybe it's all facts. But what are facts? Well, facts are just something that a bunch of humans agree on and decide that this is the way it is. You know, after World War II, Germany didn't get the right what happened. Well, maybe in their own country, but in the States, Canada, London, whoever else, all of us, we got the right to history. We got to say what Hitler did wrong and all the justifications for why we went there. Are those all true? I don't know. I mean, depending on where you look, it says 432 hertz used to be what we tuned our guitars and our music instruments at, and now everything's at 440 hertz. And if you do this test, if you can sample this, and I've done it with sand or metallic things, structures, even water, you'll see in the water with 432 it's very harmonious, and the water moves very nice and eloquent. It even makes designs in some cases. And if you use the 440, it's a lot more destructive. I've done it with like little shavings, filings that were not lead but iron, and I put them on a subwoofer and I would tune it to that, and you know, I would do a bunch of cool things like that and making it actually like hover without ever touching the ground. I thought that was pretty interesting. But you know, you put them on there, and I put something to contain it, and whenever you can make it hover completely, it would make, because it was like a plastic / glass, I don't even know what it was, probably like a plexiglass, but which is plastic glass, and whenever it was hovering, it would be stuck to the top because it would just hover right to a certain height depending on the volume. And there's like a bunch of different ranges. I don't know all about all the different ranges, so I'm not going to pretend, but you know, it was cool nonetheless. But then it would start making patterns, and the patterns look so I mean, it depends on what you think is nasty, but when things are making these shapes and like circles and stuff like that at 432 to just like this chaos, destructive looking shit. Just like if you go look at videos on the internet, it'll show you this exact same thing. But you could also do this with a simple free app that, you know, has ads. But you know, you can make this happen on top of a subwoofer. You take the casing off and all that though, so it's like bare bones. And you know, anyways. But point is, after they say, well, Hitler used 440 hertz to get people on his side and all that, okay? And that's what we're fed, okay? So I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying that's fake. You know, I'm just telling you what I did, what I saw, because I saw the thing on YouTube. I wanted to try for myself to know if it's actually true or not, if I could trust this person as a source. You know, I like to do that to different people I watch, and if I test their theory and their theory fucking fails, well, then I know they're a fucking fraud. Okay, so think about that. Anybody who watches me, who has a channel, I've probably done that to you, and I know if you're a fraud or not. But anyways, so 440 hertz was what Hitler introduced at that time to help persuade people, because he was very charismatic and whatever else. Okay, so we're told it was his fault. He implemented that. Well, then why are we doing that? We won the war, didn't we? So if Hitler was in power now, wouldn't he be the one having 440 hertz? And since we won, wouldn't we put it to 432? Or is that just a good idea that we're going to take from Hitler, even though he was the bad guy? See, shit like that makes you question things. And once again, if you can't prove it, there's no point in fucking following it through. You know, have your opinion on it so you have something to say, maybe have some talking points if it's really important to you, if you want to back it up. But in all honesty, it doesn't matter. You know, all my music I retune to 432. When my children go in the bath, I put it at 432. And you can say, well, why would you do that? Well, because it harmonizes the water. What do you think your body's made out of? How much percentage of your body? It used to be 80-some%, now it's 70-some%. So we're dehydrated right at birth, technically. If you go by that information, who knows? But point is, your body's made out of water. Do you want the water in your body to be in chaos and all shitty, or do you want it to be harmonized? Why is it that certain frequencies, when they're played right, actually do calm you down? Is it just because of the thought, the placebo effect? Maybe. Or maybe it does actually have something to do with frequency and range. You know, people that go around talking spiritual, and then when someone else says something spiritual, they want to prove it wrong. It's like, how can you be a spiritual person 1 second and then be a total fucking scientist, fact fucking Christian fucking debunker the next? Like, it makes no sense. But anyways, watch out for the NLP, right? Because like what I just said too can be misconstrued as either a conspiracy or, you know, whatever. Because I gave you fact, Hitler this. Fact, we implemented this. And NLP, one of the ways, a persuasive NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, or patterns, but programming. One of the easiest methods of doing that is exactly that. You give facts, maybe 3 facts if you want, and then after you give all the facts, then you give your opinion, your assumption, what you believe to be true, and what you state it as a fact as well without saying it's a fact. Therefore, the person's mind assumes that it's real. So I said, well, these 2 things were real. Well, why wouldn't this part be real? You know, that's an.
All right, what the fuck's going on, everybody? Oh, I can hear myself think. Fuck. Oh, I hate fucking bank cards. Trying to find a fucking bank card every fucking morning. God, that's nuts. I don't like this video. Thanks, I just cut my hair too short. Fucking bullshit. Anyways, what's going on? Oh, I'm a tit. I care too much about my looks and my appearance. Not every day, but most days. Trying to get over that. Slowly but surely getting over it. Yeah, so I made my first podcast episode in like, I don't know, fucking 2 months probably. Well, yeah, maybe that. Maybe a month and a half, something like that. And all it was my 3 last episodes from YouTube put on there. And I know I've said it before because I've been asked, why do I do that? And it's because, well, there's some people that don't go on YouTube and they just go to iTunes or iHeartRadio or Dropbox or Google Podcast or Apple iTunes or Apple Podcast or the many other platforms that is used that my shit goes to because of Spreaker. One of the reasons I like Spreaker because they offer a free podcasting and you can send it to all those places. But when you're doing the free one, I think actually even if you're paying for whatever, you have to have at least 5, I think, to get on Apple Podcasts and or iHeartRadio, something to that effect. But at least they offer you one for free to try it out to see if you can actually build up a following. Now, whether you actually get people to find you during the free one for 15 minutes, who knows? It's kind of like YouTube in that sense. YouTube lets you start off by videotaping yourself for 15 minutes for free, uploading a show, you need a free account, so on and so forth. But, you might be better to pay for a YouTube Premium or something like that if you really want YouTube to take you seriously. And actually, because if you're paying them, well, then they're more likely to let you make some money via the service.
I got the wrong fucking glasses today. That's why I look so stupid. I got my wife's glasses. Oh, that's how much I care. I guess I don't care that much about my appearance. I guess it depends. But anyways, the point I'm trying to get at is, and maybe I'll associate a picture with it or put a picture here. But I've got this month, for the last month period. Now, the month prior to this, I made $20. I got that payment. I don't know when. So I know it's been over a month. But for the last month, I haven't made an episode at all. People have been watching my stuff, but it's been the lowest impressions and requests, and that's what the ratio goes by, right? People request something, maybe it's the tags I associate with my episodes, which I really got to do that on YouTube. I've just been writing titles. Sometimes I don't even do that. I just put the video on. But requests is always higher than impressions. Impressions are what may give you the ad revenue and or you make the money from. So whenever I sorry, there's traffic and construction in this fucking town. But anyways, when I yeah, so the impressions and the requests are somebody looking for specific information, and impressions are basically probably how long they've lasted, or they stayed on there, or they actually watched the entire thing. Who knows? I don't know. I could read about it. I could read up about it, figure it out, but I don't care that much. However, what I do know is this month I was lower than ever. Now I had some fucking weeks where it was still like 290 some downloads, and other weeks where it was only like, I don't know, 100 downloads. I don't think I ever went lower than that, but I had some days where there was only like 3 downloads and whatnot. And you know, when you're not making new episodes, well, there's nothing for the people that have been watching you to watch, and you're still going to get so many new people watching you. But anyway, so all I was getting was probably new people watching me, people coming and looking and seeing if I had anything new. No, okay, left, whatever. Who knows? But I still got $14 deposited in my account today, which is a little bit less than the 20 American I normally get, because that's only about 10 American. But still, it's still $14 fucking dollars. You know, that means if I continue my service, which I am, I've already paid for the service this month, because they're not stupid. They don't let it come directly out of that account. You got to pay them first. Like I said, you got to build up. You got to make your podcast has to go fast enough, because if every month they hold you back. It's kind of weird how it works, but they hold you back like 2 months. But when you start getting enough impressions that within from the 1 month to the next month that you had more than $10 occurred in there, then you're golden. The way mine works is I normally have about $15 in there after every month cycle. So I think it was after about 3 or 4 months in a row of doing that, I was able to get a payment every fucking month. But if it took you like 2 months to get a payment, well, then you would be waiting every like 2 months to get a payment, something to that effect. Holy fuck, the pool's open here. No shit. Well, it's not open. I think they're practicing safe fucking social distancing. How are you going to do social distancing in a fucking public pool? Like, everybody's in the same water. Your spit's going in that water. Like, if coronavirus is a real fucking thing and our spit contains the virus, then that's the worst thing to fucking do. Your pores can absorb it. Everything can absorb it. It's on your body. You get some in your mouth. You get some in your nose. There's no way around it. Your body absorbs more water through your pores than you drink. Like, it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. These people are so stupid. They're preaching one thing and they're doing another thing behind their back, and they have no fucking idea about any of the information. They have no idea. They think if you just stay 6 feet apart, you're safe from the fucking virus. Or if you're in a pool with a mask, you're safe from the virus. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You guys are a bunch of numbnuts. Like, fuck. Stupidest thing ever. Oh my god. Oh, the chlorine will kill it. Chlorine will kill it. Okay. Good luck with that shit. Good luck with that shit. Fuck. Shit. There's chlorine in our fucking drinking water. If chlorine killed it. Anyways, I'm not even gonna bother. Alright? Anyways, so yeah. So if you are thinking about getting into digital content and whatever, I am an advocate for Spreaker. I like Spreaker. I think Spreaker is an awesome platform to start at, because it's not your face. It's just audio, and it distributes it to so many platforms, including now all these different ones wherever you can get songs and music from that it goes to. But then you also have YouTube, Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram, all these other places where you can connect your Spreaker account that whenever you make an episode, it automatically goes to. So it's fucking awesome. There's no, hey, it's not the same day. I'm just wearing the same shit. No, it's not even the same shirt. If you look at the previous, it's not even the same glasses. But anyways, yeah. So if you're getting into digital content, or you want to get into this, talking about, you know, anything, it doesn't have to be spirituality. If you want to talk about spirituality, that's cool too. You should. Especially if you've had success, you should most certainly talk about your spirituality. But nonetheless, nonetheless, I'd say Spreaker is a good route to go. But even if you're planning on, you know, if you want to do this, but you're not sure how to start, if you're a little nervous about starting, whatever the case may be, start writing. Start writing your thoughts down. See if you have good content that you would like. You know, you're going to be biased towards your own stuff. We all are. All right? We're all biased towards our own shit. All right. Fuck, it's construction bullshit. Anyways, yeah, we're all biased towards our own crap. We always are. I mean, but there's still a meter there, because whenever I do a good episode that I think is good anyways, I can't wait to listen to it. And if my wife wants me to do some bullshit with her, I don't mean that though, on a wall, I kind of do. But, fuck. If she wants me to do some shit with her, and I am in the middle of watching my show, or about to watch my show, and it's a really good one, or so I think it is, because there's something in there that I said that, and that's what I mean, the meter for me, the thing for me that tells me whenever I have a good episode or not, is if I'm saying the stuff my conscious mind knows, okay, whatever, maybe people need to know it, but, you know, bleh. But if I get into something that actually I didn't know yet, and then I put it together during that show, which is what happens when you write, by the way, or do it this way, but you got to start somewhere, you got to start writing, because until you feel comfortable, until you know you're talking to an audience, you're going to feel stupid, and that's how most people feel. They feel stupid. They feel stupid until they talk to an audience. They feel like an idiot because they don't know if anybody's actually listening to them or not. So they feel like they're just talking to a camera, and they don't feel the people on the other line. Whereas right now, I know I'm recording. I know I'm like talking to myself. People are looking at me like, what the fuck is this guy doing talking to himself? Maybe he's on the phone, maybe not. But I know people are going to watch this. I don't have much of a following, but on everything from Speaker, I have 5 followers. But once again, that's 95% of my viewers aren't subscribed to me. So I know there's like whatever that 5% is 5 followers, then, you know, you can do that math and figure out how many other people are listening to me on Spreaker. Then on YouTube, I've got 31, you know, so there's at least 31 people that are going to probably eventually see this stuff. Plus, once again, YouTube is something like, I think it's changed now. I think it's like 89% of my people aren't followers, but still, that means 11% is 31 followers, which is actually a better percentage than Spreaker, which is great. And then, you know, Instagram, I got like 90 some followers, but Instagram is probably the easiest place to get followers. And then on Tumblr, everything goes to Tumblr. I don't know how many I got there. I want to say 17, 18. And then on Facebook, I don't have much, but, you know, it's reaching people. I'm not trying to get people on Facebook, because unfortunately, the way Facebook works, as soon as your hometown's in there, which I should take that off, but every time I take that off, it wants to cancel me, delete my account. So it's like I need to have that on there for some fucked up reason. But anyways, it's trying to generate people that it knows me, because I know these people and they know me, but I don't want them. They're trying to add me, and I don't want them to be added to me. And it's nothing personal against them. I like these people, but when you have a name like Ceremonial Witch and then last name is Craft, it's fucked up, you know? People are gonna be like, what the fuck's going on? And it's not that I'm embarrassed of what I do. I'm not embarrassed of what I do. I don't give 2 fucks about what I do. I know what I'm doing is the right thing, and I know they're fucking not doing the right thing, or maybe they are, and that's why they're trying to follow me. They're actually into this stuff, and the only way I can find that out is if I actually looked it up. But, or if I actually accepted them, but at the risk, because like a few of the people, their kids go to school with my oldest, and some of the other ones know my mom and my sister. I don't need my mom and my sister or my kids being hounded or hassled. Like, your dad's in some pretty weird shit, eh? Like, what is he, the devil worshiper? Is he a Luciferian?
they call me a Luciferian, I wouldn't be that insulted. But devil worshippers is stupidity. And, you know, if anybody ever read the qliphoth and shit like that, you kind of know what they're aiming at. Now, I guess it's all on your interpretation, but so far, what I gather, and this is what I got basically the first time, but the first time I was a little more polarized when I was doing it, and then a little less this time, but, you know, it's basically God has been anthropomorphized, has been personified within us. We all think we're gods and shit like that, and the spirituality and New Age is really, really amping that up. But the only way to get God, or to become a god first, is to, like, this is not completely accurate, but to kill your personification almost. To kill what the religions, the Christianity has done to people thinking that God is within us, God's going to save us, and all this crap. You got to kill that programming somehow. And that's how I look at it. You got to kill these thought forms we've created around us. You got to kill all that shit so you can start from afresh. So when you go through the tree of death, when you go through the qliphoth, I think it depends on you. I think it depends on your programming. Now, I've changed programming myself already, so I don't necessarily need to do this going by my own judgment, but nonetheless, I'm doing it anyways. I'm going to do all 10 sephirods of the qliphoth just to see what the fuck happens. I'm going to go through those dark realms of the abyss in the underworld and make myself up to the surface. And, you know, but basically the way I look at it is very similar to your whole year of doing a neophyte, of depolarization. Because until you're completely depolarized, there's no way you can do the other 10 or 12 sephirods, or it depends on where you look. But there's no way you can do the Kabbalah sephirods when you're polarized. And most people are not going to want to wait the time, and they're going to just start doing those sephirods, and then they're going to have life experience after life experience happen to them. So if you do an extra 10 before you even get to the tree of life, by doing the tree of death, well, then you're going to be so much more balanced, so much better depolarized, that you'll be a fucking star. Problem is when people start looking into the qliphoth and they start planting their flag in some place where they realize Christianity has dominated forever, and has suppressed our knowledge or suppressed us or whatever. They ended up planting their flag there, and they realize, oh, they do have some power already, and they can change things. So then they do start changing things, but, you know, they didn't finish the process, and then eventually when they run out of that power, and they don't understand why, yet they kind of already know why, it's because they didn't finish what they started, and they decided to start judging people instead of being depolarized and balanced. Well, that's where you get problems, but you have that also in the Kabbalah. If someone starts the Kabbalah and doing those sephirods and doing path working, and they get stuck on it somewhere. You know, maybe it's on Bina, on a Saturn or one, right? Where they're realizing their restrictions and they don't like it. Or they realize where Saturn's been restricting them. Once they get past that, they become a star, but then they don't finish the rest. You know what I mean? Then, you know, same problem can arise. And once again, if someone starts path working, doing Kabbalah from a non-depolarized state, and they think they're depolarized, yet you bring up politics and they fucking go ape shit, or they bring up, religion and you're completely against Christianity, but the rest of the religions they can be depolarized too. It's like, well, then you're not depolarized because it's still a religion, and it still has to be understood from a grounded same point. If you think one religion is all bad, even if you think Satanism is a thing and people are eating babies out there, if you think that's all bad, then you're mistaken, because there's nothing that is all bad in this world. Doesn't matter how much bad outcomes come of something, there's nothing that's all bad in this world. And in the same sense, there is nobody eating babies. I'll tell you that right now. You say, but I saw. If you saw anything on the internet of people eating fucking babies, it's fucking fake. No one's going to let you tape them eating babies. And anybody who would really do a ritual like that, a real ritual, where they would do that for whatever gains, would be smart enough to know that that is a sacred right. Even though I'm not saying eating babies is a sacred right. I got 4 kids. I wouldn't dream of eating them. But nonetheless, it's a sacred right. And you'd be offering that to some, obviously demonic force is what we would all say, but some deity that wouldn't want people knowing about this, and you'd want to continue. So the stupidest thing to do would be to record it and put it on the internet. nonetheless, point of this is just, I don't even think the qliphoth, I don't even know why I got on the qliphoth. You know, what you intake comes out. So, I mean, I went to sleep with the fucking book on last night. Oh, that might be problematic, but see, that's programming talking, thinking the qliphoth is bad, but it's not. Some people think it's bad, but it's not actually a bad thing. It's just you go into the underworld when you start this path. I don't care how you look at it. Whether you're doing Kabbalah, whether you're doing witchcraft, whatever you're doing, you go into the underworld. And if you don't, then you're not doing it right. But this is a metaphor for killing your personification. Because how else would you explain what the process is when you're going into initiation of becoming a witch, of becoming a shaman, of becoming a fucking magician, ceremonial or otherwise, of becoming anything? Well, what has to happen? You can't use your personification anymore. Corey LeBlanc is still a thing. Yes, it's still the guy who talks to my family and all that shit. But when I'm doing magic, I don't have that. I'm trying to take on personifications of deities. I need them to take on my subconscious mind. You know what I mean? So I have to greet them from a depolarized state. The Corey LeBlanc that I used to know, that used to exist, is not worthy of being in front of a fucking deity, of anything like that. And once again, I know all deities are not exactly real. They're fucking probably most likely somewhere between thought forms and an ancestor, like a sphere in the sky that we've anthropomorphized. And just because we have 7 that we can see with the naked eye, and then another fucking 3 after that we can see with a telescope, but that isn't too far, doesn't mean we don't have more deities. And at one time there wasn't more deities. So just because if one doesn't fit one of those narratives, or if you're trying to make it fit to those, you don't have to. It's okay. Like I said, there's lots of stars up there that we can see with our naked eye that are so much further than those planets we're talking about. So to know if they're planets or not, and to know if they have an effect on us, well, I'm sure they all have an effect on us. Just the ones that are closer, probably more so. And that's why, you know, we do what we do with astrology and all that. But I believe the Pleiadians have a big effect on me. You know what I mean? And if people believe the reptilians are from, what's it called? Oh, I can't remember their star system, but it's pretty fucking far away. But a reptilian brainstem, nonetheless, is pretty fucking damn close to us, right? So who the fuck knows? But there's no point in dissing anybody's religion. Whether you think someone doing the dark Kabbalah is bad, well, what happens when you finish the 10 Sephirah of Kabbalah and the Great Work of Self-Transformation, and you're not satisfied? It might not be you. It might not be you. But what happens when you do finish it? See, I'm not technically doing these 10 Sephirah right now. I'm reading about it to learn about it. I'm doing my current curriculum because I started it, and I don't believe I should stop and start doing the dark tree. But I'm going to do the dark tree after this. You're fucking goddamn right. There's no way I'm not going to. Because it's going to be part of my depolarization training. Take something that's considered dark and maybe even talk about it and make it into something that can be used and beneficial to everybody. Because I don't believe that dark magicians and baneful magicians use the qliphoth, and that's why they become unbalanced. Because from what I read so far, it's a way to balance yourself. All right, let me get this set back and fuck up. Get a smoke lit. Get back to channeling some info, I guess, eh? No, I'm not channeling shit. This is just the way the thoughts come from. Sorry about that. There's a bunch of traffic. Bad road to cross. But anyways, so. I'm going to go get some gas. Where's it going? Oh yeah, so the way people look at me when I got this on, right? And even the pentagram for that matter, and even this fucking ring now for that matter. I mean, I've heard people whisper like, what the fuck? Is this guy for real? What the fuck? Is he Illuminati? What the fuck? He worships the devil? Like, I've heard all that, and it don't matter to me. I laugh it off. But that's the kind of thing I don't want my kids and my wife to have to deal with, and even my mother or my sister. So, but they all say they don't care by adding me on the fucking Facebook. Like, Facebook is that important to add somebody, that they need to add me just because I'm a family member, or else it feels weird. So whatever. But I told them, this is why I wanted to keep it secret, because I don't want this to happen to you. So we'll see if they're really real whenever it happens or not. And, you know, I'll just take all that animosity and energy and turn it into what I want again. But
This is the same thing when it comes to qliphoth. Like the test I told you guys to do with the Illuminati, I'm straight up doing that. I am straight up not pretending, but using the personification, the thought form, the Illuminati. Everybody on the internet giving Illuminati bad energy. Everybody on the internet giving them good energy. Everybody on the internet thinking that the royals, the elites, because it depends on where you go. But some people think the Illuminati isn't like the presidents. They think it's straight up reptilians or aliens or whatever they think that is Satanism. But some people, when they first start off, think the Masons and the Illuminati are synonymous, the same thing. And, it keeps going on, and eventually you start putting them into different little groups, but basically all the same little group. So everybody's putting that energy there. That's fucking just energy up for grabs. And if that energy is given freely to the governmental people and the top of the pyramid people just because they're at the top of the pyramid, well, fuck that. I'm going to use that to propel my ass up there. I don't give a shit. Now, I don't want to propel my ass up there just to be up there, but I want to propel myself up there to help my family first, myself first, then my family, then my extended family, then, my fucking block, and then maybe my municipality, and then potentially my province, and then potentially my country, and then potentially, my continent, and then so on and so forth. And that's probably way more than I could do in a lifetime. I'm pretty sure, by the time I hit Ontario, I'll be in my 80s. That's my province. So, you got to do what you can do within the time you can do it. I'm already 5 years old. Am I going to live a long time? Fucking right. I'm going to live longer than most. But still doesn't mean you're going to have a lot of time to do all that shit. But, once again, anyways, point is, I'm going to collect that energy. I'm going to use that energy to my fucking benefit because, well, why the fuck not? When you learn how energy works and you know that people are putting all this energy into this thought form, this title, if you take on that title, indirectly or directly, if you wear something and people, once again, it depends on how many people actually assume or think that I'm legitimately an Illuminati member. But there are other things I can do to grab that energy. So, but anyways, that's the same thing. I want to prove to myself, I guess, maybe to other people, I don't know. But I want to prove to myself that Illuminati doesn't exactly exist. But you can do spells and ritual and wear certain things to get people's minds to assume that maybe you are them, and then thus wise, if one mind that's connected to all the minds believes you're an Illuminati, then all the minds can believe you're Illuminati, then all the minds can attribute that power that they're giving to the Illuminati to you. In theory, this is what scientists do. They have a theory. They say, in theory, if you can do this, technically you can do this. And then they test that theory. So that's what I'm fucking doing. I'm testing that fucking theory. And I'm doing the same thing with the qliphoth. I want to see, because I was told a while back, and it was actually Frederick Xavier that said it, there should be no baneful magicians. And he said, I think that further and said there is no adept baneful magicians. And he says because by, how did he say that? Well, anyways, he ends up saying, because they should have learned all this in the Grade of Water. He's like, but they learned from the qliphoth, which is the inverse of the Tree of Life, the Tree of Death. So there you go. And I just took that at his word and I never looked into it until after one particular dark night of the soul, I looked into it because I realized things that were dark aren't always a bad thing. And then it was just, holy fuck, eye-opening. So I looked into the qliphoth, and the first time around was hit and miss because, the author I was using was a very dark magician, but I'm rereading the same book and I'm getting a whole different perspective. So I'm realizing more and more that it's not so much about their perspective, it's the perspective I give them, especially with the written word, right? The written word, you don't know how they wrote that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the first time I was right and they are really dark. But maybe it's just the perspective that I attribute to them. Once again, comes back to what everybody's giving the Illuminati. I want that. It's up for grabs, so I'm going to take it. Because I don't see the fucking anybody else wearing something that says they're Illuminati. I'm not, and this doesn't say I'm Illuminati. It's just a triangle with a fucking eyeball in it. It's just a fucking piece of fucking stainless steel, this one. It's not even, but you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. As long as people believe what I want them to believe, then it's all good in the hood, everybody. It's all good in the hood. So anyways, that's a little bit about my current
projects and what I'm trying to accomplish here. Fucking gonna pull over and fucking drop the fucking smoke in the car. Wife's gonna kill me if I put any burns on this new leather seats or even the carpet on the fucking floor. Even though she's leaving garbage all up in this bitch, letting the kids do whatever the fuck they want all up in this bitch. Like, fuck me, woman. Kettle calling pot black or whatever that fucking saying is. Basically calling something a hypocrite. But yeah, I'm gonna have to stop this and I'm doing gas and stop the fucking car. Blah 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 blah. But anyways, I'll be back. Well, that was shorter than I thought. My hair's already still the same way. Bank was right here, big line up at the bank, so I might as well fucking record, right? Anyways, so that's my current projects. I had something else I wanted to talk about. I can't remember what. Oh yeah, the book I'm reading right now. Well, one out of two qliphoth books. There's one I'm listening to at work, and there's one I'm actually reading. And I do both different books just for different reasons. No point in getting into it now, but when you read and when you hear, there's a different perspective attached to it. And I think it has something to do with the voice of Siri. So you got to make that bitch voice, guy, girl, whoever you attribute more neutral. If you think all women are evil demon bitches, then you might want to make Siri a guy. Even if you're a guy, it doesn't matter. Because if you hear her voice and, reminds you of something or whatever. So anyways, there's something about hearing a book that gives you a perspective along with it, whereas reading it is more your own and more imaginative. But anyways, I try to do every book a different way, and I try to, if I read the book a second time, do the opposite way, as long as you don't always remember. But anyways, it was talking about how in Acadia, at first, it's talking about the civilization before the flood or the cataclysm or whatever it was. And they say the Sumerian texts say that there definitely was some fighting between two fucking whatever, and if there was any Egyptian books about it, they didn't survive because there's none left in Egypt itself, but in some other places where the Hebrews were, they might have had those texts. It's a little iffy there, because then later on they say something else I've also come to kind of agree with, was that the Hebrews just kind of started making up things, like trying to get Yahweh in there or trying to get their God in there back, trying to create monotheism. So it is what it is. But nonetheless, I was saying in Acadia they were called the Anuma. I forget what that word is. The next one is in Sumer, Babylonian, Mesopotamia, it was Anunnaki. And then later on the Christians called it the Gregory. And I was like, holy fuck. And if you're new to me, then you'll know. You won't know, but there's something I talked about, I don't even know, 4 or 5 months ago. And then even prior to that, like probably close to a year ago, I had an episode about it. How Enoch, Archangel Metatron turned into Enoch. Noah was Enoch's son. He created an ark, like the Archangel, right? And Anunnaki, Enochian, it's all connected, is what I said. I said all these things are connected. It's probably one and the fucking same. Because Anunnaki doesn't mean aliens. I mean, it can, because it means something about the heavens, like men from the sky, or sky beings, or heavenly bodies, or heavenly beings, whatever you want to call it. But the Anunnaki are people think they're people that created slaves, and we're here just for mining. And guess what? If those are the real fucking gods that the Christian Bible is trying to demonize, well, guess what? You're going around saying that the real creator, the real ones who created you, are really a bunch of slave owners, and they hate you, and they created you just for slaves. And that fucking story sounds fake from the moment I fucking heard it. And the moment I heard it was a long time ago, and I never bought into it. And I still don't buy into that bullshit. I don't know how many people buy that, and to each their own. I'm not going to say it's not true. How the fuck can I know? But it just doesn't feel right, you know? Ever have something that just doesn't feel right? It doesn't make any sense, this whole gold trade fucking thing. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways, and I'm not saying those are real gods. I'm not saying that's who made us. I'm saying if it is, and you're calling them that. But, the Gregory in the Bible is a race of beings that were like
the Watchers, that were the fucking people that came down, the fallen angels. The Grigori are basically the same thing. The thought forms from another realm. And they came down and they started having fucking sex with the women here. And then the women became witches, because witches were the bitches of the Watchers, right? And then those witches had kids, guys and girls. That's why guys can be witches too. But you know, that's what they are in the Bible. They're demonized. They're these demons that God's henchmen initially, and then because of what they did wrong, God fucking banishes them and puts them away. But I think it's really just thought forms, and they have all the attributes of a thought form. All these things are having sex with women. Well, was it women were really getting knowledge from them, and then you burnt the women for being witches, and then you just assumed that, oh, they were getting information from the Watchers, and then you wrote a bunch of stories in the books about how these beings came down and gave the women the knowledge, because you don't believe that when anybody should know the truth, that they can channel information at any time and be smarter than your ass, especially women, because men have a problem with women being smarter than us, but they are. They're more intuitive. They're the stronger gender. I mean, they kick our ass in every aspect of the game, except for maybe being positive emotion and shit like that. I think it's easier for a guy to be all love and light, to be honest. I really think it is. I think it's harder for a girl too, because they have to deal with more bullshit, from the bullshit we put them through, from the bullshit they've been put through by their own gender, from the bullshit that society puts them through, from the bullshit that Mother Nature initiates them into. And it's because she has to initiate them. They have to be stronger, so they get an automatic initiation, whereas we don't. We really have to earn this shit. We really have to put ourselves through hell to get the fucking golden nugget at the end of the fucking rainbow, or whatever it is. But, and I'm not saying girls don't put themselves through hell during their initiations either. They don't. They do. There's a reason why priestess is way more prominent in witchcraft. At least it used to be. I think it still is, to be honest. And women traditions and Dianics and shit like that. I mean, there's a lot about Iana or Diana, the moon. I mean, it's so important. There's only 2 of them, and there's all those other ones. Well, it's because you only need 2 fucking girl planets. Because between the 2 of them, they're more powerful than the other fucking 5. You need 5 guy planets. And, you know, technically Mercury's a half and half, you know, so. But that's why Mercury's so fucking powerful. That's why Mercury's the magician. Because you have to be in touch with both your sides and use them both equally to do this shit right. Because if you're imbalanced, if you're all woman, well, not going to work. But you're better off being all woman than all man. I'll tell you that much. But you need both sides. Probably a little bit more woman than man, but you need both. Anyways, this is a whole bunch of shit that I don't know if it even matters or anybody needs to know, but I'm just talking, I guess. But, yeah, since I've been wearing this and doing this, I mean, things just happen. I'm not even doing much ritual work right now, and I know that's a mistake. Like physical ritual work, I'm doing it all in my head, you know. And I do magic on a daily basis within my head, but not without giving offerings and showing my respect. I'll go to my altar, light a candle, offer it to somebody without even writing something on it, you know what I mean, that I want. Like, because wanting all the time, being thankful for something that's already happened, you probably can and get away with it, because it is all within you. But nonetheless, I still feel you need to show a little bit of devotion, a little bit of fucking respect to these things, or else, you know, you won't get the respect back. All right. And so, I'm because of that, because of all the success I've been having, and I attribute it, not all of it, to the necklace and me taking on the Illuminati fucking thought form, personification, pretending I am Illuminati, affirming that I am Illuminati, and I get to have all that energy for me, myself, and I. But, you know, just for my magic going right more than it's been going wrong. For everything that I've gotten recently that's been amazing and worked out to like the utmost best of my ability, like it's been incredible, to say the least. It's been fucking incredible. So between my son fucking up and stealing a lot of food and us finding it all in his room, him having the one room that I put a lock on the door when it was my workout room, and then that came in handy when it was also my temple. So it was both my temple and my workout room. So that came in pretty fucking handy, and it's still on there. But then I gave it to him, and it's a special door, right?
This door is a smaller door because it's in my basement, but you know, I left the handle on there. Didn't give him the key, but he was still locking it when he was in there. And now we know why. He was hiding all a bunch of shit that he was taking from the fridge at night. So the nights he couldn't take anything. And I mean, he was literally taking stuff like every night that he could. And then when he had 1 or 2 days a week that me and my wife stayed up late and we were in the living room, or when we slept in the living room, I'd always hear him. I tell myself to hear them if they come upstairs, right? And my body listens to me. When I tell it to wake me up, I normally wake up. Problem is I forget to tell it to wake me up. But nonetheless, he would have enough food down there for those nights. But he would come up every night. He had a stockpile of shit. And he was grabbing shit from the fridge and freezer that fucking melted, like popsicles that he was trying to store for later. It's like, when you're 12, you didn't think about that? Well, just drink the juice. What the fuck, man? So, as a result, we got the boot. Where the playroom area was, where the TV was, where the Xbox is, where the futon was, is now his bedroom. Closets and everything are all out of there. So, I have everything out of the room. I'm in the process of making checkerboards everywhere, all over the walls, basically, because it's going to be all black and white. My favorite colors are black and white, which aren't colors. But since I've been a kid, well, red too. Black, white, and red. And my chart doesn't have a lot of fire element in it, as I've said before. Probably why I like the color red, because I lack fire. I lack that willpower to stick up for myself, you know. It takes a lot to make me upset, but when I do go upset, I fucking fly off the deep end. And it's because I've always had this pent-up anger because I don't let it out. I'd rather let people walk all over me. I'd rather take the loss than be assertive and make someone else take the loss, because then I feel like I don't deserve it. I feel like I deserve to take the losses more than someone else deserves to take the loss. You know what I mean? I don't like people getting bullied, even though I was a bully for a little bit as well. So, it comes and goes. That's back when I was a Christian and I was fucking all fucking, you know, high fucking arrogance, you know, because I was a Christian. I believed in God. And I would use that if someone didn't believe in God, it'd give me a reason to kick their ass. It's like, how stupid is that? But I'm telling you, that Bible is made that way. That's why I say people have a point when they say that, you know, the Bible is made in such a way that it doesn't make you better, it makes you kind of worse. Right, so all that was to say that I'm making a new temple room, and within my temple room, it's going to be my kid's old room, which was initially my old temple room. And we had trouble with lights in the room there. That was the room where the fire almost started, where the light switch is. A lot of activity in that room. And that's why I have a lot of built up energy already in there. So it kind of makes sense to bring it back to my temple room. Because of the fact that, you know, a lot of weird shit happens in that room because of, you know, it being my temple once before. So anyways, then I don't have Masonic floors, the black and white means polarity and all that. People just think it's some devil shit because it's in the Masons and all these other places. But really, it just shows polarity. It's showing that you embrace both sides of it. I mean, it's all up to you what you want to make of that. You don't have to fucking go along with the general consensus, even though the collective, our collective, not another collective, but our collective has its own spirit of itself, okay? The collective is all of our, what we all attribute, all the definitions, everybody, and not just the collective of like Canada or United States or pop culture, but like the entire fucking world has a collective. And that thing has its own spirit of its own. And you can come in contact with your own collective, or sorry, your mind, your consciousness can come in contact with that. Not your conscious mind, but your subconscious is connected to that. That's how it gets its information. But then, you know, it needs to, anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about that. But point is, I'm taking my temple back. I'm going to be putting my altars all up in there. I got an altar in every direction. Now, technically, within my curriculum, I'm not supposed to have an altar in every direction. But my witchcraft that I do kind of calls for it. And I use that within witchcraft. Now, that's one of the things that drew me to witchcraft. And say what you want about it. And you're probably right if you do say, well, it's because I'm doing things above my grade. And I am. But when I do those things that are above my grade, I'm not doing it in the sense of just doing it, just to do it. Fuck it, I'm going this way. I'm not doing it just to fucking do it and be ahead of my time and try to manifest things. I follow my curriculum to the letter. But there are certain things that I need to call on specific elements, especially whenever I get information or I talk to a deity and I'm told I pissed off an earth element. Well, at least I did the earth grade already, but a water element. You know, I've had plumbing issues before, and I never really thought about it this way, even though I heard Frederick Xavier talk about it. He's had issues with rogue water elements before, and, you know, I have as well. And the plumbing in my house has gotten fucked right up because of it. And, yeah, it sucks a dick whenever that happens. I mean, literally, I solder something back together, it breaks. I solder something back together, it breaks. Okay, well, maybe I suck at soldering. Let's get a professional in. Professional comes in, it breaks. Professional comes in and changes all the fucking piping, it breaks. So then he takes it upon himself to say, well, you know what, guys, I don't know what's going on, but I'll take the fall for this. I won't charge you for any of this work or whatever, which was great. Got it all fixed for free, but then it still broke again. And it wasn't until I fucking said what I had to say, then I fixed it myself, that it actually took. Like, how do you explain that? Rogue water element. Because, and I mean, if it would have just eventually fixed on its own by itself, and I never talked to the element and gave it offering and whatever else, this is what people think sometimes. They think they're cursed. And I mean, in some ways it kind of is a curse, but in other ways it's just you pissing off an elemental that you didn't even know you pissed off, basically, by disrespecting it by doing something you shouldn't have done. You know, you could be pissing in a pool maybe, and if that pool is a holy enough pool, or anyways, no, I don't know if that would do it, but I didn't get the information of how I did it. But anyways, so point is, there's certain times where you got to do certain things. And how do you give an offering to a rogue water element if you haven't done that thing yet? Well, I mean, you can go to your altar in the east. If you only have one altar, technically you can. But I don't know. I found it more beneficial to do it like that. And that's where witchcraft came in handy for me. Because, and I mean, loophole or just, you know, cheating, call it what it is. But, you know, neophyte, you're not supposed to really be calling stuff to you. Which I didn't, but I was implanting stuff into my subconscious mind. They were using sigils and candle magic, and I was getting results. And I understand why they don't want you to do that, because if you start doing that and you start getting results with it, you're not going to finish the curriculum. And you need to finish the curriculum, because there's certain things you need to know that you wouldn't know that are going to be beneficial. Because, like, being able to manifest stuff is all great and fine and dandy, but if you don't know all the knowledge there is to know about this curriculum and you just start manifesting, well then, yeah, it's not going to last, and you're not going to transform, and therefore you're stuck manifesting your whole fucking life the hard way, whenever there's easier ways to know. Like, I wouldn't be able to be doing half the stuff I could do if I hadn't continued. I haven't done the curriculum yet, but if I didn't go on, let's say I just stayed in the neophyte and I never advanced to earth, and then I didn't pass the earth grade, well, I wouldn't know how to take care of health and my finances the way I am. Not just doing a fucking simple sigil to get money, and then I blow all that money, and then I gotta do another sigil after sigil, and who knows if that would even last the test of time. So it's important to, you know, explore all aspects. So that's why I incorporated witchcraft, because of many things, but that's one of the reasons I incorporated witchcraft, because I think it's important to do that. To expand. So that I think I started doing witchcraft stuff whenever I started having manifestation happen during my neophyte, before I finished the neophyte, but basically around the time I finished it. And this is kind of how I knew I was ready to go into the earth grade, because I was having luck with manifestation, and I had all the checklists complete from the book. But, you know, it was just, I don't know. There's a lot of reasons, things that contributed to that, but I still go back to my Kabbalah, because it's all about self-transformation. It's not Kabbalah and the great work of manifestation. It's Kabbalah and the great work of self-transformation. You transform the inside to get results on the outside. So you put a sigil in your mind, you get the money, great. But if you didn't transform the outside, that money is still going to be pissed away and you're not going to do anything. So let's say you try to get a business so that money can stay within you. Instead of manifesting the 10 grand, you manifest a way to continuously make the 10 grand. But
if you don't transform and you're still polarized and you're doing things from a polarized perspective, then you're not going to be able to maintain that business. Hence why I haven't created a super stable way to continuously make money. Hence why I'm still working a job, because I'm still working on transformation. And I truly believe, because I was the same way, I believe that working a 9 to 5 was slavery. We're all fucking slaves in this sense. And then I came to a realization that, well, you know, maybe in a past life I was a slave owner. I don't know. I have no way of knowing that. I've never did past life regression the way you're supposed to do it. I tried to do it myself and had very small successes, but successes nonetheless. And because of that, I found out a couple things. Oh yeah?
Alright, so just so I can finish this up so I can publish it, I guess. I won't get into my past life regression because, well, truth be told, I asked for past life regression for a while, and, you know, I got a couple dreams, very similar dreams, and it was me in a past life, but there's no way to know if that dream was accurate or inaccurate. And I never really continued pursuing that. So I'm basically coming to the realization that whatever I did in the past life, I'm going to work out the karma either way, so knowing it's not really going to serve me anything. But no, what I came to believe and come to find out was just basically that we all have karma to pay, and if your karma is tied into having to work in a 9 to 5, well, that's going to be your destiny. And if not, well, when you do a self-initiation path, you start working on yourself, self-transforming. Basically, you're going to find your passion within whatever you're doing. You're going to unlock that passion, and you're going to be able to find it. It might take time to get there. You might have to go through maybe a little bit of hell on earth. Maybe you have to go through the underworld first to make your way out. But, you know, ultimately, you're going to get there. As long as you have the determination and the discipline to stick to it, whether it's a curriculum, whether it's a book, whether it's just practices, whether it's learning from a teacher, who knows. But ultimately, there is some karma to pay. And, you know, I decided to go to work for myself. I decided to not be a victim anymore and just blame me having to work 9 to 5 and not trying to find a way out of it. You know, because if you're going to sit there and work a job, but then complain that you're working a job, and that's slavery, and, you know, Inky and Anu and the Anunnaki, it's all their fault. They want gold, and that's why we work. You know, it's like, really, if you really want to stop working, you can start saving, go back to school, and do something, or you can start doing stuff online and learning how to do correspondences after work, or whatever the case is. You can find a way out of your job, you know, or do like I'm doing, do a self-transformation course at the same time, teach about it, and then, or at least try to help others go into the same course or similar courses, and then who knows, the energy from the people watching you can help your magic. You can also manifest things to help it along, and, you know, life is good. So, yeah, that's basically where that went, and I don't really know. I've talked about so many things that they're probably all open-ended, and there's no reason by going back over them, so I'm just going to end it here, but I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a good day.
I'm saying, well, y'all should probably look up on the internet. They already told you about Saturn. See, that's Dell right there. Dell is dealing with Saturn, the planet Saturn. Everything that you see out in stories, most of the time you're going to see Saturn symbolism. See the south and north node, like I told y'all? Saturn is dealing with the black cube, and the black cube is, some people will say that's the pineal gland. I have a disagreement with that. Saturn, the cube, is the pituitary gland. Actually, when I meditated with a black cube on my head, I could feel the energy pulling down. I just knew the energy was there. And Saturn, another term for Saturn is father. You know what I'm saying? That's another term for Saturn. That's why people call it priest father. And the priests, you know, they wear black. That represents Saturn. The judges wear black, the police wear black, even the gangster disciples wear black. That's all Saturn energy. You know what I'm saying? Because they got the 6-pointed star, or the hexagram. That represents Saturn. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. That's 6 triangles, 6 points, and 6 lines. That's dealing with Saturn, and that's carbon dioxide. In black, that's the color of carbon, if you can see carbon. when you open up your pituitary gland. Now, the goat, which is the goat of Mendes or Baphomet, that's dealing with Saturn. That's Capricorn. The horns is the left and right brain hemispheres. Saturn has both right and left brain hemispheres. The cube is the brain and is also the planet Earth. The upper triangle, which is masculine, light, that is dealing with male, you know what I'm saying? And that's the left brain. Then you got the downward triangle, which is feminine, which is darkness, which is magnetic. That's dealing with the right brain. You know what I'm saying? Some people say pentagram is female and hexagram is male. Okay, you could say that. I would disagree with that in some cases, because remember, you got the triangle, that's the male, which is upward, and you got the downward triangle, which is downward, which is female. Saturn's also dealing with sex, you know, tantric sex, the devil card, you know what I'm saying? That's what Saturn's dealing with. Saturn's dealing with time, restriction, is also dealing with transformation, is dealing with responsibility, is dealing with the things that people don't want to deal with. And that's what I like about Saturn, because Saturn actually, I harness a lot of energy through Saturn. And actually, I knew that my reality changed when I worked with Saturn. You know what I'm saying? It's actually my second favorite planet after Pluto. Now, in some mystery school systems, you will see that Saturn will be considered the crown chakra. You know, the original color of the crown chakra is black. You got the purple crown chakra, which, you know, violet. You got the white crown chakra. You got the silver crown chakra. You got the gold crown chakra. You got the brown crown chakra. And you got the black crown chakra. It depends on the individual. Sometimes the crown chakra could be magenta. So, for instance, you see that Pluto could be associated with the crown too. And on the top of the tree of the Kabbalah, in some traditions, sometimes Pluto's the top, sometimes Neptune's the top, sometimes Saturn's the top, and sometimes Uranus is the top. Most of the time you're going to see Uranus up top. Second, you'll probably see Pluto up top. And the reason for that is, if you go back to Greek mythology, you have Hades, which is Pluto, and you have Zeus. Zeus could be symbolic as Uranus, also Jupiter. You know what I'm saying? But let's say Zeus is Uranus. Zeus is Uranus, Hades is Pluto, and Poseidon is Neptune. You know what I'm saying? And they had 3 locks. They had the 3 wooden sticks, and one get to decide who ruled the heavens. Hades had the underworld, Neptune had the sea, and Zeus ruled the heavens. So that's what those 3 those 3 surfers heading up towards Keter. Like, which one is it Neptune? Is it Pluto? Is it Saturn? Is it Uranus? So back to Saturn now. You know, Saturn, the reason Saturn could be up there too, because Saturn's a Titan. You know what I'm saying? That's talking about us too, because, you know, ancient black civilizations, we fell, you know what I'm saying, you know, to this corrupt government. We are the Titans. That's what the monsters that they talking about. Everybody's a god, but everybody's not a Titan. We're the Titans. But, you know, the other races, they're gods too. You know what I'm saying? Because they're basically our children. Everything came out of Africa. You know what I'm saying? Some people argue that too. You know, actually, I would say Antarctica, because, you know, the Olmec Empire and the Africans, ancient Kemet, you know, all those came out of Antarctica, because there's pyramids in Antarctica. But back to where I was with Saturn. You know, this has nothing to do with discrimination. It's all about the facts. You know what I'm saying? You got to be true to yourself. I'm not going to sit here and lie to nobody because somebody's going to get upset. So, back to where I was. Saturn. Restriction, time, space. Also, on Naruto, they have something called Sharingan. That could be dealing with Saturn as well because of time and space, but the Sharingan is actually dealing with the North Node and the South Node. That's what the Sharingan is dealing with. Some people will say Saturn's the Abyss or Doth on the Kemetic Tree of Life tradition, because Corazon, the dweller of the Abyss, also known as the chaotic serpent, known as Goril, the rainbow serpent, and Apep, or Apep, or Apopus. You know what I'm saying? That's dealing with Saturn energy too. And Saturn's dealing with chaos. And the rank for Saturn is knights. You know what I'm saying? A knight is actually a black person, but when he wore the suit, he was a knight in the suit of armor. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the Knights Templars are actually the Moors. Type in the Moors. You know what I'm saying? So if some of y'all that don't buy into anything I say, do the research yourself. So, another thing is that the witch that rides on the broom, okay, that's dealing with the phallus. And the phallus is dealing with Osiris, which is Saturn. You know what I'm saying? The Lord of the Underworld. It can also go to Pluto too. Now, Kronos is also the Grim Reaper, the harbinger of souls. That represents Saturn. You know, that can also go back to the shadow people, which you would call Devas. You know what I'm saying? Devas, you know what I'm saying? They dealing with Saturn because they're hidden. They're associated with darkness. And another thing is that the Grim Reaper is associated with Saturn. The middle finger, when you throw up the middle finger, that's associated with Saturn. You know, you open up the doors of chaos. So, did I tell you why Dell was associated with Saturn? Let me tell y'all that. Okay, now Dell, you see the E has that cube right there. You add up Dell in numerology, it adds up to 15. There you go. And what's 15 dealing with? The devil card. You know what I'm saying? On the it's dealing with the devil card. And the devil card is dealing with Saturn. You break down the 1 and the 5, you got yourself 6, which is the hexagram, which goes back to Saturn. Oh, and GD, that stands for Gang's Disciple, but if you go into the Kabbalah, GD means the children of Israel, and that's why they had the black and the blue. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Jews. And Saturn is actually what they call Satan or Shaitan. You know what I'm saying? But actually, Satan or Shaitan is a counterfeit version of Saturn. Also, Yahweh is a counterfeit version of Saturn. Also, when you get into Enochian magic, you're going to see a lot of Saturn symbolism. You know what I'm saying? The angels are also ruled by Saturn. The demons are ruled by Saturn. You know what I'm saying? Saturn is considered the root chakra because, you know, Saturn is the root of spirituality. You know what I'm saying? Saturn and the serpent. Those are the root of spirituality. You find dragon, serpent, and Saturn symbolism everywhere. And you'll find North Node and South Node symbolism, but people don't catch on. That's why you got the light and the dark side, a light side. You know what I'm saying? And Del rules what hell, rhymes with hell, you know what I'm saying? That's why they made a joke on that. But, you know, Hell, which is hell means hidden. And that's dealing with the abyss, anything that's hidden, the subconscious mind. And the occult. So, even, you could decipher video games, books, television shows. Just like when they say, oh, he's in the nether realm. You know what I'm saying? Like in, damn, I was about to say Christianity, not Christianity. Yeah, Mortal Kombat or any other show. What they talking about is us. All of us that's learning this information. We're actually nether realmers because we are into the hidden realm. We learn about this hidden stuff. It's not a portal that you jump through. It's actually your mind. Your mind is the portal. And there you go, that's the Cell Saturn right there. That's also dealing with Azazel. Not Azazel. Yeah, Azazel. Yeah, there we go, because most people say Azazel. Azazel, the evil spirit of the wilderness. That's dealing with, you know, Saturn too. And deserts can be associated with Saturn, because the cube has the earth element. And if you want to manifest things, get yourself a black cube. Or if you don't have a black cube, get yourself a Rubik's Cube. Because that will actually help you manifest things. And they walk around the black cube. That's dealing with manifestation too. And, you know, when they walk around it, that's representing Saturn. And Saturn is associated with storms. And storms is associated with transformation. And is also associated with destruction. So that's also going back to APEP, the APEP aspect. Also, it can go back to Yahweh or Zeus. Because, they are associated with storms. And archangels and stuff like that. That's associated with storms. They say angels come out the clouds. Or arc. What does arc mean? Arc is dealing with electricity. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that does welding, you know what I'm saying? Arc. You strike an arc. Archangels dealing with lightning. And that can also go back to the Wajinas and Aboriginals. You know what I'm saying? The Aboriginal times, the Wajina, the cloud and rain spirits. And you got the Nagas, which is the serpent gods of the... They lived in the clouds. There's some that lived in water and stuff, but there's also some that lived in clouds. And you got the Shulong dragons. The dragons, they live in the clouds. So, all this is one and the same. Angel, demon, fairy, they're all one and the same force. Also, the vampire is dealing with Saturn because, like I said, the Grim Reaper, the harbinger of souls. You know what I'm saying? The vampire is also dealing with the vagina in some way too. And you got yourself the pituitary gland, which looks like a vagina. Now, there y'all have it. That's the planet Saturn. I'm going to stop right here. Okay. So there we have it right here. Wow, I actually found it. Hooray. Shit, there's no such thing as coincidence. Some people probably say I got that from that, but, oh well. Doesn't matter, as long as they learning. So this is the south node, this is the north node. You know what I'm saying? That's the moon, that's Mercury, that's Venus, that's Sun, that's Mars, that's Jupiter. And there you have is Saturn. You know what I'm saying? Saturn could be right here. Some people, this is the Hermetic system. They consider Pluto to be right here, Uranus to be right here, and Neptune to be right here. In ancient Kemet, yes, they did consider it to be on that side. Now you could put Saturn right there, and Uranus right there, and Pluto down there, and Neptune right there. But the reason Pluto's right there most of the time, because Pluto's actually truly Keter, is the hidden part of Keter. And these are the secrets of manifestation right here. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. You know what I'm saying? And the south node is dealing with your instincts. So, and you got the north node that's also dealing with your bioenergy. And silver and gold actually heightens your senses. So there you have it. Oh, and it's the tree of life right here. And use the qliphoth, use the tree of death. Like I say, you combine the light and the dark. And there you go. Because, if you just deal with the light and the dark, if you just deal with one, you getting pushed over to... Damn, didn't zoom in. Damn, quit doing that shit. Okay, right here, you getting pushed over into that matrix because you just be on this side, and what you thinking is, when these were gone, the north node and south node, you thought you was going up the tree, but actually you were just spinning around in a circle. You was trapped in here on this light side. And when you was on the dark side, when you didn't have these two sides, you thought you was going down the qliphoth tree, but really you just spiraling like this in a damn circle. You were just trapped in there. You trapped in illusion. You're being controlled by the moon. But since you know both of these, boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? Now you went up. People choose the left-hand path and right-hand path. But I choose the middle. I balance both energies out. You know what I'm saying? Now, people on the right-hand path and left-hand path that do know about this, they're not being under control. You know what I'm saying? And left-hand path is dealing more with the individual mindset, and is dealing with basically manifesting things for your desires and learning things about yourself, you know what I'm saying, is going against the grain. Right hand path is you trying to change the world, you know what I'm saying? It's not really worship. People that like, you know, when you bow down and worship something outside yourself and stuff like that, that's not really right hand path. That's what a lot of people in the left hand path think it is. Really, you just trapped here if you're still doing that shit. So this is the right hand path. That's dealing with the mundane shit, but it's also you trying to save humanity and shit like that. I'm not into that shit. And you got the middle path, which is dealing with you trying to go into higher levels of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So there you have it right there. And I would do both of that sometimes, but mostly I'm self-centered. So there you go. See y'all later. Thanks for watching.
We don't belong here. That we are strangers. That something terrible happened, and that accounts for why we're here. That we were destined for a much better deal, and something went terribly, terribly wrong. It takes different forms. Some Gnostic mythologies are fairly straightforward. Some are fairly Baroque. The one that I enjoy is one of the more Baroque ones. The 2nd century Gnostic Bishop Valentinius had this notion that there were 36 archons. They are demons of progressively lessening power that interpose themselves between man and a true vision of God. And the last of the archons, the 36th archon, was Sophia, and the only of the archons that was female. There's a tremendous sexual ambivalence in Gnosticism, which we can talk about, which is resolved in different ways. But anyway, the 36th archon is Sophia. She looked upward toward the higher God and saw him bring forth creation, of which she was the final manifestation. And in her heart, an avarice grew, a wish to create in the same manner as the highest and hidden All-Father. And she brought forth, it's described as an abortion. She self-fertilized herself. She did not understand the requisites of creation, and she turned inward into herself, and she brought forth a monstrosity. And this monstrosity is the God of the Old Testament, Yahweh, Jehovah. And when she saw what she had done, that she had brought forth this monstrosity, she flashed through a whole bunch of emotions very quickly. Horror, guilt, rage, fear, agony, like that. And these emotions of the errant Sophia condensed as the material world over which Ildabuath was then made Lord. So the entire material universe is seen as the condensed emotional debris of the horror of the 36th archon upon witnessing her own creation, who is then made God over this universe. Well, even though this is this really bad scene, it still nevertheless has this extremely tenuous emotional debris of the world over agony like that. And these emotions of the errant Sophia condensed as the material world over which Ildabuath was then made Lord. So very quickly, horror, guilt, rage, fear, agony, like that. And these emotions of the errant Sophia condensed as the material world over which Ildabuath was then made. The errant Sophia condensed as the material world over which Ildabuoth was then made Lord. So the errant Sophia, condensed as the material world, over which Ildabuoth was then made Lord. So the entire material universe is seen as the condensed emotional debris of the horror of the 36th Archon upon witnessing her own creation, who is then made God over this universe. Well, even though this is this really bad scene, it still, nevertheless, has this extremely tenuous connection to the highest and hidden All-Father in the form of what is called the scintilla, the spark, the soul spark of divinity. So then the goal of Gnostics, born into this unfortunate world, is to gather the light together, to save the light. The light is defiled by its presence in the world of material.
Yalbadov, the lion. Watch BET. Actually, I was into entity. I worked with him once, but this your boy Apep Dracon Uraeus 333. Today I'm gonna talk about who are the Archons. The Archons. Anybody could be an Archon. An Archon could be someone that holds you back, but also the Archons, I work with a lot of them, they have the head of a lion and the body of a snake, of a serpent. So this is the Archons. And there's a group of Archons, it's a Gnostic demons, that's what they put in the Bible, the adversary, but it's an Archon. There's a deity, a group of Archons called the Demiurge. And the Demiurge is a group of deities or gods that do not want you to have the sacred knowledge, or the Demiurge is a group of deities or gods that do not want you to have the sacred knowledge, or the make the transition to the astral planes. They want you to reincarnate over and over and over and over and just be dumb, deaf, and blind. You know what I'm saying? So you have different types of enemies. Like I say, you have physical enemies, spiritual enemies. You know what I'm saying? But you know, this is the god Yalbadov. He's the leader of Demiurge. Now these entities could help you when it comes to getting material gain, or if you're trying to get rid of somebody, or spiritual enemies. You know what I'm saying? But you know, this is the god Yalbadov. He's the leader of Demiurge. Now these entities could have spiritual enemies. You know what I'm saying? But you know, this is the god Yalbadov. He's the leader of Demiurge. Now these entities could help you when it comes to getting material gain, or if you're trying to get rid of somebody, or you're trying to estray somebody, like if someone is trying to keep you off of your path, you can use them, unless they're using that person to keep you off of your path. But a lot of these Archons, they also have the head of a lion and the body of a snake. You can also find these go all the way back to Nubia, because the Gnostics came out of ancient Kemet. But they also, like I said, the Gnostics were the original Christians. Like the Luciferianism has a lot of Gnosticism in ancient Persian stuff. But this is what it is right here. This is the Yalbadov. Very, very powerful entity. I worked with him once, but I don't really trust him. But I can work other Archons in ancient Persian stuff. But this is what it is right here. This is the Yalbadov. Very, very powerful entity. I worked with him once, but I don't really trust him. But I can work other Archons. You know what I'm saying? Because all Archons don't try to hold you back. You know what I'm saying? Because you got Archons that's working against the government. Just like I said, you have the government that's trying to manipulate the masses. You know what I'm saying? And trying to keep that knowledge away from you. That's your physical enemy. You You know what I'm saying? But your biggest enemy is yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not telling you to go around blaming the government or Yahweh, just like how Christians blame Satan on everything. Oh, it was Satan, Satan this, Satan that, Satan this. And yeah, I ain't telling you to go around blaming Yahweh. Yahweh ain't responsible for everything, and the government ain't responsible for everything. You know what I'm saying? Most of the stuff is based on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to, most of it are our faults. You can't blame nobody else. Because you allow this. You know what I'm saying? I allowed this. All of us allowed this. We sitting here being, well, not me, but I was once one. We was sitting here being dumb watching freaking BET. Well, I didn't watch BET, actually. I was into hanging around with the gang members and stuff like that. And violence and stuff. But it's probably worse, I don't know. But,